It's time to draft, ladies and gentlemen. Time to draft with the schedule in hand. And we're doing the weekly winners, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Link in the description. Dropping the link in the live chat. If you want to get in on this draft, you must be signed up for Underdog. Use code Smitty. Use the link. And they'll give you 50% up to $250 on your first deposit. So you drop 200, they give you 100. You drop 500, they give you 250. You drop 20, they give you 10. It's the easiest thing you could do right now. Go do it. Do it live. Jump in. We're drafting with the NFL schedule in mind, and we're doing it on the weekly winners because that just dropped. What are weekly winners? Oh, weekly winners are not only one of the most fun Underdog fantasy football contests you could join. They have nothing to do. One week has nothing to do with the other. Week 1 has nothing to do with week 17, week 15, week 14. You are competing with the team you draft one time in one sitting. No lineups, no ad drops. It's optimal scoring. You draft one team strategically to try and win 17 individual weeks that are standalone weeks. $20K going to the winner of each individual week. We're doing it now. The Fantasy Football Show, Graveyard Edition, Draft Edition, Weekly Winner Edition, Drafting with the Schedule Edition begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks, live for Graveyard Draft Editions, live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to drop the link one more time if you want to get in on the Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty draft with your boy right now. And again, they'll give you 50% match on your first deposit up to $250. That means you drop 500, they give you 250. You drop 100, they give you 50. You drop the minimum of 10, it's $10. They'll give you 5. And the minimum 10 is all you need to get in the draft right now. $10. A measly $10 can get you signed up using code Smitty, using the link, and into this draft we're about to go into right now. $20K goes to each winner each week, and the next week that starts over, nothing matters. Week 2 has nothing to do with week 1. There's no accumulation of points or wins or losses. It's like you can draft your entire team for week 5. Your entire team could be suspended all the way through week 16, and only your entire team come back in week 17, and you could win $20K in week 17 alone. It's the most phenomenal way to play best ball, and weekly winners is the best product I think they have, to be honest with you. And so let's jump into a draft, and as soon as I get it loaded, I'll put it on screen. Click on weekly winners. It should be like the 1, 2, 3, 4th card on the Underdog main screen. Click weekly winners, enter now. There's about a 10-second delay, so I'm gonna wait a second and jump in, and then we'll hopefully a lot of us will get in the same draft. So jump into the weekly winners, hit that button. You should have already hit it. I'm entering myself now, and I'm gonna pull up the draft right now and put it on screen. But man, this is absolutely my favorite tournament, best ball style of play. It really is. It's so fun. It's unbelievable. As soon as we get the draft full, 4 more to start. As soon as we fill it up, 2 more to start, I'll be able to put the board on screen and we can go from there. Appreciate every single one of you being here. You guys absolutely make the show. I wouldn't be able to do this without you. So I always want to let you know how much I appreciate all of you. All right, let me expand this board. I'm drafting from, I think, like the middle of the draft. I just took a little peek at it. Pick 7. I like it. Pick 7. Weekly winners. Again, you're not concerned. You can draft guys that could get hurt after 4 weeks. If you want to, Christian McCaffrey has very little risk in this format, even at 28 years of age. Why? Because in weekly winner territory, it doesn't matter if he gets hurt in week 5 or week 7 or falls off. You just need to win week 1 if you want. With Christian McCaffrey, you can draft all around the bye week guys in weeks like number 12. There's kind of a bye-mageddon. We'll break down the bye-mageddons. Week 12, week 6, I think it was week 7 or week 8 or something like that. Week 14 maybe. There's a few bye-mageddons. And you might want to draft a team solely around that. Coach Smitty gets it done. Underdog Fantasy. Link is being dropped in the live chat right now. Make sure you click that link and sign up to get your 50% match on your first deposit all the way up to $250. Christian McCaffrey goes 1.1. Number 2 is on the clock. Your boy Smitty drafting from the 7. I couldn't be more excited to do a draft right now. Knowing the schedule, which honestly we don't really know it. We haven't absorbed it fully. I'll try and pull it on screen from time to time and go over it, but frankly, there's not going to be even enough time to dance around it. But we'll look at things and say like, okay, where are my bye weeks at? What am I looking to do? If I draft, McCaffrey or something like that, I'm going to take a look at the teams that have bye weeks. The weeks that the Niners have a bye week, I might try and. This is going to take more than one night to kind of like come up with a plan of attack. I'll keep the schedule right here in the corner when we need to pull it up. I almost think we're not going to have too much to go on. I'm going to look at week 17. We talked about the KC Chiefs having kind of a brutal week, 15, 16, 17. Miami Dolphins kind of have a brutal week, 15, 16, 17. But the beauty in weekly winners, doesn't matter if they have a tough week 17, week 16, week 15, because there's no playoffs. It's $20K each week to the winner. And on that note, I think Bijan's going to have the most blow-up games out of anybody in the National Football League. So I'm going to go Bijan at number 7, and I'm going to say thank you very much. Can I have another? Can I have another? I'm going to say thank you all day long to Bijan Robinson at number 7. Thank you. Can I have another?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special message from the Bruce's mother.
Get Bijan.
All right, get Bijan. Jahmyr Gibbs goes number 8. I love that too. Part of me wanted to go Gibbs, I won't lie, because he could have some huge blow-up games. 2-3 touchdown games. So can Bijan, though. Either one tickles my... Let's see if I can... To show the players that are available to be selected. Let's go over here. And... I could probably show that in the corner here. So let's do that. This will be a little helpful, I think. All right. I'm going to put this over. I guess in the corner now. I can move it around as we get to certain parts of the draft. But those are the top available players at this moment in time. Wow, I'm excited. I love draft time. I could probably also move this over. Probably make. We don't need my mug so big, right? So why don't we do this? Why don't we put me right here? Move this up. Oh, I'm on the clock. Okay. So Barkley, JT, Drake London. Drake London's pretty good here, and I'm stacking. I mean, I don't always love to stack wide receiver, running back, but it's also not bad. Just kind of depends on the situation too. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this, Code Smitty. Actually, can we... I'll have to set this up differently later. All right. Drake London, Barkley, JT, Devontae Adams doing it live. We got Bear season drafting Gibbs and Kyron together. That's kind of my style. I like that. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Brandon Ayuk in the 9 hole. The 10 spots got Breece Hall, A.J. Brown. The 11 spots got Garrett Wilson, MHJ. The 12 spots got Puka Nacua and Devon Achane, which is a smart move. And I think Devon Achane's ADP is going to be a lot higher in weeklies because you don't need him to stay healthy. I mean, of course, let's be real. You want everybody to stay healthy. You want 17 cracks at 20K because you got to look at weekly winners. This is weekly winners. You got to look at weekly winners like it's 17 separate leagues in a way. It's like 17 separate leagues, and you want a crack at the most amount of opportunities you can get at winning that 20K. However, a guy like Achan, who is an injury risk to everybody, it's not a big deal if he misses even 4 or 5 games. A guy like Kyron's got higher ADP because it doesn't matter if he misses 4 or 5 games. Yes, you have less shot at that 20K, but if Achan has the most capability of getting those huge blow-up games, then he's the guy you want. He's the guy, the right man for the job to put in a position of your running back 2 or even close to your first rounder. Okay, hold on. Getting close to drafting here. All right, so DJ Moore's available. Waddle's available. This is weekly winners. My main concern is points. And to be honest with you guys, as much as I love some of these, let's see. I'm going to go Hurts. I'm going to go Hurts, man. I'm going to do it live. I got Bijan, Drake, London, Hurts. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. It's a glorious start, if I do say so myself. What an amazing start. Sam Laporta, Barkley, and JJ from the 6 spot. The 5 spots got Jamar Chase, JT, and Diggs. The 4 spots got Lamb, Adams, and Josh Allen. The 3 spots got Tyreek Hill, Debo, and Mike Evans. Appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, I do approve of your number 12. I don't care about Achan that high. This is weekly winners. Achan's going to have 4 or 5 weeks where he outscores every running back in the league, or at least 2 or 3 weeks. And that gives you a shot at 20K right there, that week alone. So Achan's got a higher ADP. He's got to have a higher ADP. Superfish, Breece Hall, AJ Brown, Josh Jacobs. I like that balance. That's a good team. Garrett Wilson, MHJ, and Waddle. Not a fan of Waddle myself in the 3rd round, but that's me. Achan, Kelsey, Puka, Tank Dell. I like that. That's a good squad there, Harrison, from that corner there. Harrison's rolling with a good squad. I like it. Live in Washington and can't draft, but still here to watch. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate your support. And we'll do some mock drafting on this channel as well. We're just kind of getting our feet wet on the first couple drafts. But Code Smitty, Underdog Fantasy, doing it live. Malik Neighbors, Pittman, DK, Cup, ETN, Higgins, George Pickens, Stroud. Those are the top players available at this moment in time. I really, really like the options on the board. I'm feeling really good about this next pick. I think I'm going to be quite happy with who I get. Wide receiver, DK Metcalf off the board. Definitely one of my top 2 picks. Cooper Kupp is perfect for weekly winners because I think he's still got elite talent. It's just like, can he stay healthy? I don't need him to stay healthy. I just need all these guys to come together in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. The deeper I get into the season, the more likely Kupp's going to fail me potentially. But that's okay. What he could give me in weeks 1, 2, 3, 4 is enough for 20K, a shot at 20K. Second place is 10K. You know, you smash. This is 4 absolute monsters right here for a weekly winner team that where no one week depends on the other. Bijan, Drake London, Jalen Hurts, Cooper Kupp, smash, smash, smash. Do it live and do it again. Cooper, Higgins, ETN. ETN's a fantastic weekly winner player because you are worried about do they get more the backups more involved, like they keep saying they're going to every year and don't. And if they do, then guess what? If they don't for 4 weeks, they don't for the second half of the season, ETN can deliver. You know he can deliver top 5 running back numbers. So if he gets it all year, he gets it all year. If he only gets it half the year, you still have a chance to win cash money. And I like the team from the 4 spot. The 1 spot, Olave, Nico, Christian McCaffrey. Not a huge fan of this build. Malik Neighbors. The wide receivers is smashing the wide receivers no matter what happens, huh? I don't like it. I'm sorry. It's like I don't mind wide receiver. I don't even mind running back, wide receiver. 4 straight. I don't love it, but I don't hate it if it's the right players. But I think that's forcing. Every single one of those wide receivers is forced. You know, it's not like you're getting like a Debo and a Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, a Puka, like, and you're just like stacking like this talent. Okay, wow. What a assortment of players sitting here. Let's go with Kincaid, and let's just get as balanced as we can get, ladies and gentlemen. Bijan, Drake London, Jalen Hurts, Cooper Kupp, Dalton Kincaid. I'm feeling a little frisky right now.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, buddy. I'm loving this team. Absolutely loving it. Let's see here. Joe Mixon, Kittle, Jaden Reed on the clock is the 11 spot. What do you guys think of the squad so far? What's going on? Appreciate you, everybody, being in here. I believe the draft strategy for weekly winners is way different than, of course it is. It's way different. You only got to win one week at a time. And let me venture to say that people that act like they know a formula don't, because its first season was last year, and you don't even know, if injuries took out the better strategies by bad luck, right? And then you're thinking, oh, the winner did this. It's got to be the way. Don't let anybody tell you that weekly winners needs to be done a certain way. Let me just put that out there right now. You do what you feel is right. You do what you feel is going to deliver. And anybody that says you got to do something a certain way, or you got to build wide receivers, or you got to go running backs, or you can definitely think of advantageous pieces and strategies to deploy in one draft and do it in another and try it out. I think what it comes down to is you need to assemble a team you believe in. And best player available almost comes into play a little more than even normal with this situation. Damn. I timed out on my auto, or on my queue. That's okay. I had him queued. He's a little early, but JSN's a great wide receiver for this format too, because even if he got going later or whatever, I timed out on my queue. Damn it. That's right. That's right. I time out at least once a draft as I'm trying to navigate live streaming it and everything. But that's all right. That's all right. We're good to go. We're good to go. We're fine. We're fine. JSN and Cooper Kupp and Drake London are a formidable wide receiver crew. Dare I say, even the people going wide receiver for days aren't beating my wide receiver room. This draft slot, no offense if it's someone in here, from the one spot doesn't have better wide receivers than I do. And I haven't been going wide receiver for a year and a half. I think Drake London and Cooper Kupp and JSN are pretty damn good. The one tip I'll give everybody, whether you're doing weekly winners or Best Ball Mania or any draft on Underdog, is queue a couple guys like I did with JSN. And if you time out, like you're at least getting a guy, even if he's like 5, 6, 7 spots down, you're getting a guy you queued. Like you want that player. You're not getting handed somebody you hate. So first thing I do is when you're looking, queue somebody immediately. Okay, so you're on the clock. You got 24 seconds left. It's ticking away. Just queue somebody you like and then keep looking. And if you time out, you'll relax and you'll be like, okay, I'm going to time out on him. It'll be okay. So I queued JSN. That's probably the best advice I could give anybody right now, to be honest with you. People don't think about this, and they get timeout and they get screwed. Queue, and you'll be fine. Man, I love the squad. Derrick Henry, Lamar, Zay Flowers. I don't like Zay Flowers in the third round. It's too high. So that team already, no offense, coach, the team's out for me. Sebastian, Tyreek Hill. It's just my opinion, too. Don't take it to heart and get all upset at me. Tyreek Hill, Debo, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen. Again, that's overdoing the wide receivers, in my opinion. This one from Money. CeeDee Lamb. It's okay to overdo wide receiver. People have won overdoing wide receiver, but I think when you overdo it and you're grabbing guys like Keenan Allen, who are in a total timeshare, it's not even the same situation anymore. He's changing teams, learning to build rapport with a new quarterback, is getting older, is in a system you don't know how it's gonna do. So many mouths to feed. It's like that's when I'm not forcing the name or the position like that. I believe that is forcing. Now, the ADP might be a little off. I might want to remind people. So don't feel like you can't stray from ADP a little bit right now, because I don't think the ADP it's not using you're going to see a different ADP a day or two from now. So don't feel like you can't stretch it a little bit in the first run of the first couple of days of these, why the ADP is getting generated. Because I think too many people are thinking, oh, I'm taking somebody too high. You're really not. As long as you're not reaching 45 picks down, it's okay to reach like 10 spots, 5 spots down while they're generating the ADP data, because the ADP data is going to be very, very different. Bears has Joe Burrow, Mixon, Kyren, Jameer. Very good team. If I had to say a team that I feel like has the best squad aside from mine, because I do believe mine is the best here, it's got to be me in the 8 spot, the 7 spot and the 8 spot. The 8 spot's looking good. Kyren, Gibbs, Devontae Smith, DK, Joe Mixon. I don't love that pick, but Joe Burrow, Addison's a great team. I really love this Bijan team. Good advice. I do that as well. Yeah, you just cue somebody immediately. As soon as you're on the clock, cue somebody immediately. Just cue somebody so you can relax and not worry about timing out. Jaden Daniels. It's a good pick. I like JD 5. He wasn't too far down, so it's maybe a little early, but would you have got him back? Probably not. So that's not a bad move. Roma Dunze, not bad in best ball, to be frank, because Dunze could really turn it on down the stretch. Brock Purdy, okay. Look, he's good in weeklies as well, because he'll have some big games. I mean, he's got so much talent to throw to. Brock Bowers, nice pick. Look, I feel so stacked right now. I don't mind reaching on ADP here. I'm going to go Benson and Brooks, because in this format, to have Bijan, Benson, and Brooks, I believe I'm going to have 3 top 10 running backs at some point during the season. I think Drake London can play like a top 5 to 6 wide receiver at times this year, so I get that all year long. Hurts will be top 1 to 2 to 3 overall. My only, and Dalton Kincaid's going to be fantastic. My only liability for the long term of the season, like where I'm getting into like weeks 8 through 16, 8 through 17 to try and win that 20K, is Cooper Kupp. Because he'll probably not be better down the stretch. You never know. He could get hurt in the beginning of the year, all come together. But is stacking important? Not really, bro. I mean, it is to an extent. You're still having less things that have to, be right for you to land stuff. But at the end of the day, I still don't buy into, like other people, that taking a guy like Hurts and Chase isn't more advantageous in weekly winners than taking Burrow and Chase. Because if Jamar Chase, there's just as strong of an opportunity in my mind that Jamar Chase can have the biggest game of the week, wide receiver 1, and Hurts still outscore Burrow. So I don't buy into the stacking in weekly winners especially, but I don't care about it like everybody else. Even in the regular best ball, I stack all the time. I strategically stack all the time, but they're smaller stacks versus forcing bigger ones to draft lesser players. That is where I think people are making a big mistake. And just because people have won with it, like there are people that would have won had they not had, AR5 go down or Joe Burrow go down. Like there's so much data you don't get to look at But everybody acting like if you take like someone came into the live chat over and over, they finally left because they're complaining left and right on this channel about best ball. Oh, you got to do it this way. And they're like, you can't win if you draft a naked Joe Burrow. And you don't draft Chase and Burrow together. You can't win. You can't win. Or if you draft Jamar Chase and you don't have Burrow, you can't win. It's just idiotic. Idiotic. Especially in weekly winners, when you can easily have Jalen Hurts being the number one quarterback like 10 weeks out of the year, 9 weeks out of the year. And maybe still, even if he's not number one, he's still outscoring Burrow maybe 12 weeks out of the year. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about stacking as much. Not to mention, even if I believe stacking was good or not good, or my stance, even the stance I have, no one knows what it is yet because we don't have enough data. We have 1 year of doing this, and it's just an amazing product. Absolutely love weekly winners. It's so fun. It's so legit. It is so legit. Code Smitty. Code Smitty. Gets it done, people. Underdog Fantasy, code Smitty. Do it live. Do your worst. Hit that link that's in the live chat. I'll drop it one more time. Okay? I'll drop it one more time. Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty. I'm on the clock. Okay. Let's go. Jeez. I like a lot of these guys, man. There's so many. Let me cue somebody like I advised. I really could use a wide receiver here. And I think Jameson Williams is a fantastic wide receiver 4. 1, 2. Yeah, he's my wide receiver 4. I'm kind of staying with true to my old everybody's kind of like long-term season as well as could blow up right now except for Cooper Kupp. Jameson will probably get better as the season moves along. Brooks and Trey Benson obviously going to be more useful down the stretch. JSN going to probably get on his horse down the stretch. Kincaid, obviously going to get, I think, better down the stretch. The only one that doesn't jive with that's really Cooper Kupp. Okay, let's see here. What do we got? What do we got? What do we say? What do we hear? I'm feeling good at wide receiver. I'm feeling really, really good at wide receiver. I feel like when you have a draft and you always feel like you missed something somewhere, right? Kind of feel like this draft, I don't regret anything. Even reverse engineering it, I don't regret anything. All right, let me scroll down a little bit. Let's go there. I love this team. Bijan, you can't see Bijan, he's up above. Bijan, Drake London, Jalen Hurts, Cooper Kupp, Dalton Kincaid, JSN, Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Jameson Williams. Zach Moss was a great pick. That's a good pick. I like that. Nice job, bro. All right. Goddard, that was a good pick. I would have potentially gone Goddard to stack with Hurts, but not worried about stacking too much, like I said, with weekly winners. So let's take this is early, but you know what? We don't know where these ADPs are really going to be. So we'll go with that 1 or 2 or 3 starts he gets. Does not say anything negative about Kyron. This does not say a single negative thing about Kyron. This says something about McVay. So between Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, and Blake Corum, mixed with Bijan, I'm smashing the running back position. Just absolutely smashing. And Drake London, Cooper Kupp, JSN, and Jameson Williams with Jalen Hurts, with Dalton Kincaid. I'm not. Look, I'm critical of my own drafts a lot. I just can't be critical of this one. This is an unbelievable start. I might get the call from Underdog or the email that what's his face got, where he said that, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to shut down your team and refund everybody you drafted too good. Remember that guy today? If anybody missed it, oh, I gotta clip it. It was the most beautiful call we've ever got. Guy calls in, I forget who it was. He calls in and he goes, hey, craziest thing happened. I got an email from Underdog that my draft was too good and they had to refund it and shut it down. And I was like, did they tell you that, or are you assuming that? He's like, well, they didn't say it, but my team is the best draft I've ever had. And then they sent the email. So we got it. You let us be the judge of this. And he spits off his team. And it was like, oh, I hope he's in here. I hope he calls in. Phone lines are open, by the way.
Call into the show.
Call into the Attic phone lines.
Show.
Brought to you by the Attic, attic.shop. Dial into the show. And so he calls in and gives us his team, and if he's on the line, if he can call in again and give us his team, it was such a good laugh. And he was a good sport about it. He wasn't upset. He didn't like feel offended, but we were all just laughing up a storm. He's like it's the best draft I've ever had. You killed this draft, dude. Thank you, Sebastian. I think you're talking to me, but yeah, thank you, Sebastian. Oh, so good. I hope he calls in. Phone lines are open. Dial in. Appreciate you all. Dude's team was solid. I'm not saying he's not bad at fantasy football or anything like that. It was solid, but it was not what you would expect it to be from that, description of everything. Okay, I'm on the clock real quickly. Hold on a second, Dawson. I'm on the clock and I got to make my pick. Let's go with Kirky Boy Cousins, which I love because I've got Bijan. I've got London. I don't need to stack. I'm stacking naturally. But it does feel good because if Atlanta does have a blow-up week and Cousins has 5 tutties, then guess what? If Cousins has 5 tutties, I'm going to have, these guys all balling out. So stacking is good. It's very, very good if it all makes sense. But I believe anyway. Again, no one has the data yet because it was only run 1 year. But I think you want to do those kinds of things. Like where right now I'm stacking a late Cousins, which Ron's on the phone. He's going to love that. I'm stacking a late Cousins. Late Cousins. There's no impact on anything at this point to my Atlanta Falcon players. And so I'm not going out of my way or trying to lose value to just stack. Like that's a natural stack. Ron, listen to this team. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Jalen Hurts, Cooper Kupp, Dalton Kincaid, JSN, Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Jamison Williams, Blake Corum, Kirk Cousins. That's weekly winners. That's awesome. Hello?
I was going to say, I didn't like it until you picked up Cousins. Saved your team right there.
Saved my team. Hey, but look, the thing that's good about this is if Cousins has like a 5-tutty game, then geez, man, like it's gonna be a good potential weekly winner smash.
You know what? I'd love to see it. I'd love to see you win a weekly because of Cousins, and I could just rub Cousins in forever and a day.
If I won $20K, I'd let you rub it in every single time. Pause.
Oh, it wouldn't be a let. I'd do it. It would just be, it would happen.
So I'm on the clock here, or I'm going to be on the clock here. I'm not sure who I should grab. I don't want to say some of these names because I don't want to get anybody to draft them. Hold on a second. There's a couple players that are very intriguing here.
I know one of them.
Well, Dotson just went. He was the guy I was really looking at. I kind of like A.D. Mitchell in this format because I don't know if he's gonna have some big games. I like Leggett a lot. I think both those guys will be gone. I really like. I'm going to take something that's going to be kind of bold and kind of maybe hopefully come into play later is Ricky Parasol. He was like maybe like, I don't know, 15 down.
It's sounding like San Francisco's going to keep both Debo and Ayuk, so I don't know what the outlook is.
Well, in weeklies, though, I think at some point they may consider trading Debo during the season, or they may, like if Debo gets hurt or Ayuk gets hurt, I think Parasol jumps in and becomes a monster. So the way that I'm looking at this, and so if anybody's trying to figure out like how I'm trying to balance things, Cooper Kupp is the concern I have, like for later. So he's great now. Drake London's great now. Cooper Kupp, he's older. I want somebody that can counterbalance that maybe later and pick things up. So I feel like that's a good pick. But yeah, we'll see. But man, I love the Corum, Benson, and Jonathan Brooks running back 2 rotation, and one of them could be a flex. But that feels great. And then Jameson Williams, I really like. I really think Jameson Williams is a fantastic pick this late. He went in the 9th round.
Jameson Williams.
Madcap. Dawson, you're live. I'm sorry to put you on hold there. Dawson, what do you need? What can I do for you, pal?
So basically, I traded Burial. This involves multiple trades, so don't just listen to the first trade. But anyways, I traded Burial for Tua and a 25 first in a dynasty league. Then I traded Tua and QJ for Herbert. Then I traded Herbert for Lamar Jackson. So I basically got a quarterback upgrade.
So basically, you had somebody kick you in the nutsack twice, pull your shirt over your head, punch you in the stomach, lick their hand, slap you across the face, and then Lamar Jackson, you pulled your shirt off, you looked, and Lamar Jackson was standing right in front of you. Okay. Hey, bro, at the end of the day, you took a beating, but you got to a better place. So, and I like Burrow. I'm not saying Burrow can't outscore Lamar, but I mean, Lamar's getting drafted higher than Burrow. I mean, the ADP suggests most people would agree, Lamar, because he runs so much, is probably a better option. But man, that was a rough way of going about it. But at the end of the day, you did good. I mean, that's pretty good. I think you made some bad moves, but good God, you ripped someone off. So nice work.
Yeah, so after I traded Burrow for Tua in the first, I was regretting that, but then I was managed to get Herbert for Tua and QJ. And then I shipped Herbert for Lamar Jackson.
You
so I think I got a quarterback
you sharded what?
I shipped.
Oh, you shit Herbert.
Shipped.
I got
shipping.
you. I just wasn't quite sure. Okay, hold on. I'm on the clock here. I'm going to go Leggett now. Leggett to the moon. And I was going to go Leggett earlier, so I got my guy at the end of the day. Parasol, again, I know not everybody loves him. He's a controversial pick because the Niners didn't even need him. They thought they were trading Debo or Ayuk.
How many have?
What?
How many tight ends do you have?
Just Kincaid right now.
Oh, Musgrave was sitting right there.
Yeah. Well, Ron, you don't need to say it out loud.
Well, he's going to be gone.
You don't
He's
know
already
that.
down on the list.
You don't know that.
He will be now. Sorry.
Man, the 12 spot, he's taking all the some of the sleeper guys early. Sinnott, man, that's really high to grab him. I love him, but that's really high. I was looking for Sinnott right now. I'm like, oh God, he took Sinnott.
Yep.
Oh
man, the schedule got screwed big time this year.
Who, the Steelers?
Oh yeah, they got screwed over big time.
Yeah.
Got nine road games, three where we go back-to-back road games. Then we got to end the season, with the exception of our last three of our last four games. It's crazy, dude. They set us up. They set us up for failure. We got to play on Sunday. We got to play the Eagles. Turn around 6 days later, play the Ravens, and then 4 days after that, play the Ravens on a Saturday. Then 4 days after that, on Christmas, play the Chiefs. That's.
I don't know if that's any worse. I don't know if it's any worse than what the Cardinals have. I mean, that's pretty bad. But the Cardinals got screwed too. We got screwed year after year after year in the beginning of the season. Cardinals are at Buffalo versus the Rams versus Detroit. Washington isn't bad. Then at San Francisco, at Green Bay, Chargers. I think that's brutal.
I don't know what's more brutal than that, to play the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Chiefs.
That's true.
With all
that is
10
tough.
days.
That is tough.
I mean, that's just. And then we finish off with Cincinnati, and all our division games are all after week 12.
See, Ron, you almost screwed me on Musgrave. He did fall, but Ron did his damnedest.
No, I thought, because I didn't realize that you were gonna. I thought you would take him instead of Leggett, actually.
Well,
seriously.
I was gonna take Leggett. I was gonna take Leggett, then Musgrave, and then Pearsall, but it looks like I made the right move because Pearsall was, he was kind of popping up on here, and I wanted him just because of that. Like I said, that Cooper Kupp factor of Cooper Kupp. I'm gonna need somebody later if something happens. If Debo gets traded, you know how you always say, and this is true, you need to have a difference maker. And like Kendra Miller, the guy that got picked right after I took Musgrave, that's a difference maker. That's a player that not everybody's necessarily gonna be buying into. You need a difference maker, and Ricky Pearsall is a difference maker because if he gets in there, and he's so elite in my opinion. I wanted him at Buffalo. It's gonna be one of those things. It could be.
To talk about any other players because I don't want to mess you. Just shows how well I've gotten to know you, though.
Yeah, but let's keep it under wraps.
No, I'm not. That's what I just said. I'm not going to talk about these players that are.
I'm surprised he didn't get sniped because you said that.
Exactly.
I'm actually.
I can name players right now that you probably are already targeting. And
now I don't mind talking about some of these because there's a lot of players I like, but like Corley, for example, I really like Corley here. And the only thing I may not need him because I got so many wide receivers. I've got Leggett, Pearsall, Jamison Williams, JSN, Cooper Kupp, London. Like, I feel really good, but I love Corley here. Like, if I grab another, I love. Let's see here. Who just went? Bateman? I don't want Bateman.
Did my boy already go? Roman?
Not yet. Maybe he did. Roman Wilson? Oh, I think he did, yeah. He did. Roman. Let's see here. I got a couple guys. Tomlin will be fired, says John. The dude thinks you can drive a car up a mountain without gas. John, okay.
Tomlin will be fired.
This is one of my favorite teams I've ever drafted.
You say that every time.
No, I don't.
You really? Yeah, you do.
No,
you say that a lot. This is fire. This is one of my favorite teams. I don't blame you. It's a good team. It's a really good team.
You know what?
Say that.
I'm not gonna mess around here. I'm gonna take Michael Penix Jr. just to get the Cousins, Penix Jr. and Hurts stack. I think that's a pretty important thing for this team. I got regret not doing it. So a little bit early,
okay.
but yeah, look at that.
I think you were gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, it was, but I didn't want to take I'd rather lose out on a couple other players like Corley. I really like Corley. I knew he'd go.
I thought you might chance on JD.
Hold on. You did this last time.
Did what?
He said the name and he almost went.
I didn't say no name. I said JJ.
Oh, JJ, yeah. Yeah, JJ McCarthy's next to my team. Don't take him, anyone. Don't do it. Don't do it. John said he wanted Jonu Smith. Well, Superfish ain't going to let Jonu Smith go. I'll tell you that right now. Superfish put Jonu Smith on the bold predictions for a reason. On the bold board.
Oh, I actually think he'll do rather well in Miami.
What round are we in? Round 16? All right.
Yeah,
on all my players for my queue got taken at this point. So I'm kind of searching here.
Searching.
You know what? Let's do this. This boy could get back in time. Weekly winners. I don't need him to be healthy right away. Keaton Mitchell, very exciting running back, coming back from the ACL tear. Not a guy I love in regular best ball mania, but in weekly, I'll take it. Especially with Derrick Henry being so old.
ADP is going to get spun up within the next week. Now that the schedule's out, ADP is going to change left and right.
Dawson, you can call back if you want, bro. I don't know, Dawson hung up, but don't let Ron Navy run you off. Don't.
Like I run people off.
I'm just kidding, bro.
I don't run anybody off.
Draft. Vidal. I wanted Vidal. That's the guy I was going to pick instead of Michael Penix Jr., but I didn't want to lose Penix Jr. I'd rather lose Vidal, who I like a lot. I think Michael Penix Jr. and Keaton Mitchell is better than getting Vidal and missing Penix Jr. Michael Vick dropping a $10 hauler that gets a moonshot.
To the moon.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Cousins Penix Jr. with London and Bijan. I think it's a fantastic situation. Hey, Smitty, running back room is very old in PPR Dynasty League, and I'm worried someone gets hurt. Mainly Henry, Aaron Jones, Mostert, Zeke. Trade away Marvin Mims for Ty Chandler to cuff to Aaron Jones. I don't hate that. Marvin Mims, I don't know is going to do anything, bro. I'm fine with that. I don't love it, though. It doesn't really solve much for me, to be honest. But at the end of the day, that's like a better move, I guess, a better step in the right direction. And we liked Ty Chandler last year. We did. So I guess I would do it. It secures your running back room pretty decently. Like, I mean, at least for that one spot. I'd go ahead and do that. Mims, I hate to say that Mims becomes a superstar, but I don't think he will. Not to mention, Franklin's the number one there. At least like he will be, because that is the wide receiver. I mean, these two played in college together. So you're going to have both rookie QB and wide receiver building rapport. And then at that point, it's like there's so many other wide receivers there. And I don't know if you noticed, but everything Sean Payton's been doing feels committee-like. Wide receivers feel committee-like. The approach, you don't know who's the number one. The running backs are committee-like. You don't know who's the number one. I feel like somebody said it on the stream the other day, and I think it summed it up perfectly. He went to the wrong team. Like maybe he is a good coach still. I don't know, but he went to the wrong team. But maybe Bo Nix can turn it all around, and maybe Bo Nix is so good that it doesn't matter. I don't know. Tough to say. I'm going to take another guy that is a difference maker, win a league weekly winner, win a league difference maker. Like just having those guys that just can give you the advantage no one else has. Isaac Grendo. So Keaton Mitchell, Isaac Guerrero at the end of my bench. I really like it. Sebastian, you're live. Oh, trade away Marvin Mims for Ty Chandler to cuff. Yeah. So yes, Smitty approved that on that Michael Vick.
You've just been
The
Smitty
reason why I
approved.
took like so many of these veterans like hella high, like wide receiver. This actually is not what I do in best ball, like at all. So I kind of wanted to hedge it.
Are you talking about your team from the, what spot are you, the third?
3, yeah. You'll never see me go wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
In best ball.
The only
Ever.
the only thing I'd say is like, there's nothing wrong with it in theory. If best player available, like I'll draft wide receiver. I rarely draft 4, but I'll draft 3 in a row. Not all the time, but if best player available allows for it. A lot of times from the 10 or 11 spot, I find. But that doesn't, the key, like, if you're going to force it, and I don't want to force it, but if someone's going to force it, I just would rather see somebody that's holding like a advantageous player. Keenan Allen is tough to imagine being worth your 4th drafted player when you have no quarterbacks, no running backs, no tight ends, and you have the 3 wide receivers. I just think, if you're going to do that, waste it on somebody that's got huge upside. Like even, Malik Neighbors type in this format. A DK, obviously, in this format. Like someone like that. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not heading in that direction. But that's just me. I mean, look, everybody's going to have their different ways of doing things. So take it with a grain of salt. But that's my advice anyway. Damn it.
If you look at my running back room, after like week 6, my team is done.
Hey, Ron, you might like the move. Hold on 1 second, okay, Sebastian? You might like the move I just did there. I was gonna time out, and I had nobody to draft. I was like, what do I do? I only have 2 tight ends at this point. I have Kincaid and Luke Musgrave, and I grabbed Dawson Knox. I know you kind of like him, right? I think you do.
Yeah, I think he's still viable with the Bills, especially because he can play the true tight end while they can use Kincaid as a wide receiver.
Well, I got Kincaid too, so I feel like that's a great way to do the third. I love doing that. I love drafting my main tight end, then I love drafting Luke Musgrave and Kraft together. And if I can't do that, then having Kincaid, Luke Musgrave, I got screwed on Kraft, so I took Knox and have Kincaid and Knox and then Luke Musgrave. So I feel like it's pretty solid.
Yeah. And Travis said he was going to call in, but he's too intimidated by me, I guess. I don't know.
Huh. Hey, look at this guy from the 1 spot. What in the hell is he doing? He's sacrificing this team. Did it not refresh his final pick? My screen might need a refresh, but this guy took 1 quarterback in JJ McCarthy. Let's see if he took one at the end.
Oh, he took Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. Okay, it wasn't refreshing. I don't know. Who is that? Is there somebody in the chat? It's okay if it is. But man,
9 wide receivers. That's crazy.
That's yeah, and it's not even like they're not blowing me away. Like none of these guys are blowing me. Like you go Christian McCaffrey. Awesome. You started off great. You can't really screw that up, especially in a weekly winner, right? Because McCaffrey, even if he gets hurt week 5 and becomes 28 years old again, right now he's playing like he's 25, but he actually turns 28. He's 28 this year, and he looks like he's 28. Let's say week 5, you can win $20K or $10K or the big prizes week 1, week 2, week 3, because weekly winners each week is independent, like a separate league. And so that's a fantastic, you can't miss pick at 1 in weekly winners. But Olave, I don't hate Olave. Obviously, we love Olave. Situations is shaky. Olave, Nico, Malik, Pittman, Hollywood Brown, Calvin Ridley, Rashee Rice, Deontay Johnson. The problem with this approach, and it's not that the approach is bad, it's that the players that are there are not worth doing it. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to sacrifice to do something wild, then at least let them be Pickens and Kupp and DK and Tank Dell and you know what I mean? Like McLaurin's and guys that could literally be like number 1s I mean, Hollywood Brown could be. Calvin Ridley could be. Rashee Rice could be suspended for the entire year. Deontay Johnson. No, think like this. There's a certain number of these guys I like. Nico, he's in a timeshare, but like could be the one. Chris Olave obviously could underperform, or maybe he does well. Malik Neighbors. The first 3 picks, and even Pittman, the first 4, I'm kind of like, I'm not, those aren't the guys I'd take, but I'm understanding of the strategy. But to then just go and let's avoid the rest of the positions still, and let's go Hollywood, Ridley, Rashee Rice, Deontay Johnson. Like, I don't get it. And then you got Brian Robinson and Singletary. I mean, yeah, of course you do. And then McCarthy and Bryce Young. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But hey, to each his own. I'm not trying to rip the strategy, especially if someone's watching. I apologize if that offends you. But damn, that's a wild strategy. I really like this team. This has got to be one of my favorite teams. And Ron, you're right. I do like my teams a lot, but I'm very critical of them sometimes. I'm like, I hate this team. I don't love all of them. But this one, Bijan.
Best ball mania team.
You what?
That looks like a best ball mania team.
I mean, it looks like a weekly winner team, bro. It looks like
a winner. Oh,
it looks like yeah.
I can't find a hole.
Who says it's going to be one or the other? They could fit in both categories.
Yeah. But this particular team, like if I had, I'm going to mark this one. If you hit that info button at the top right of like when you're looking at the results right now, and it doesn't give you any weekly average projections, which sucks. I was kind of hoping it would. But if you're looking at the list of all the teams, right, you click that info button, and you can rename it. And so like this one, I'm going to put. Let's see here. I'm just gonna put some. I'm gonna put some emojis so I remember to look at this one. So this one will put. Give me an unusual emoji. Pumpkins.
Microphone.
I'll do Cousins. Okay, so I put a bunch of wiggly winners and then a bunch of pumpkins on the line, and then I hit save, so that way I can find it later. This is my favorite draft. Hurts.
Does that
what?
On Thanksgiving, it'd be funny you put pumpkins and you win the weekly on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that would be great if it shows the pumpkins. I don't think it will, because it's in the title of the draft, not my name. It'll show the fantasy football show. But Hurts, Cousins, Penix Jr. I couldn't be more pleased with that QB room. I think that QB room crushes everybody. I wouldn't even care if somebody had like Lamar and Burrow or something. I think this QB room crushes anybody's. Because, number one, Hurts, I think, this year is going to be on a mission. He's becoming my favorite player to draft right now in the 4th round. I'll take him in the 3rd all day, though, in the late 3rd. So, Hurts is my... And then Cousins and Penix Jr. cuffed with Bijan. Don't even have to stack, but I did. Bijan, Drake London. I love that. So, Bijan, Brooks, Benson, Blake Corum, Keaton Mitchell, Isaac Rendo. My weakness could be my running back, too. You could say, but not in weekly winners, because Jonathan Brooks, Benson, and Corum, at some point, they're going to blow up, for a significant amount of time. And so, maybe my team doesn't win week 1 if Brooks isn't full go or something. But it still could, win week 1. Drake London, Cooper Kupp, JSN, Jameson Williams, Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Legette. Would have liked to have one more wide receiver. But I don't think that's bad given how consistent I think some of those guys will be. Pearsall, not so much, but everybody else feels pretty solid. Kincaid, Musgrave, and Dawson Knox. My only regret would be maybe instead of Keaton Mitchell, I like Rendo. Maybe I should have won another wide receiver, but that's it. That's the only thing I can even look at to maybe wish I did differently. I love the squad.
Oh. The only time all year I'll be rooting against Cousins is week 1.
Yeah. Team number 8, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron, Devontae Smith, DK, Joe Mixon, Burrow, Addison, Brock Bowers, Goddard, Dotson. Very good team. That's right up there. Bears season, that's a great team. Amon-Ra, Ayuk, DJ Moore, Brees Hall, AJ Brown, Josh Jacobs, Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Reed, Kyle Pitts, Love, Ramondre. Great job, Superfish. You're definitely in the top 4. That's a great team. Team from the 11th spot, Garrett Wilson, Harrison Jr., Jalen Waddle. That's where I think you made the mistake there. I wouldn't have taken Jalen Waddle there. I would have gone for a home run, especially since, I don't know who that is, but especially since you literally went Trey McBride, which was fantastic in the 4th round. But then you went back to 3 more straight wide receivers. Almost worse than the team won in terms of ignoring. I mean, I like the wide receivers you took, though. Like Worthy, Adunze, and Brian Thomas Jr., that's a great 3 wide receivers to grab in round 5, 6, and 7. But I just don't know if I would have. Maybe you regret it too. I would have went. I mean, what running back could you take? Like, I would have gone ETN earlier, a Pacheco or something like that, to get an RB in there. I'm showing the rounds 1 through 9, and there's no running back yet on the screen for this 11th spot. They haven't drafted a running back through the first 9 rounds. So let's scroll. Let's scroll down and see what running back is there. Warren, not bad. I mean, that's not bad. Tajay Spears, those are both pretty good considering. Dowdle, not a big fan, and Vidal. So those are actually, like, you did as good as you could have done at the running backs. Those are really kind of crafty, like Warren, Spears, Vidal. The only problem I'm going to say is, like, that running back combo and that running back room gives you very little chances at winning. Like, you're going to have a couple weeks where, because you got to have Spears and Warren in there at the same time. You got to have Vidal rising up and Dowdle doing well. Like, the odds of having that running back room, and they're sleepers. They're good. Firing on all cylinders while all the other things are going, like, that just gives me less of a, in my opinion, less of a chance of winning, because I have very short amount of time for them all to pop off together. That's why best player available and weekly winners, mixed with the right kind of stacking, mixed with the right kind of mindset of, I don't care if, let's say, Henry could get hurt after 2 months, I'll at least have the best team for 8 weeks of football and a chance at 20K because I took Henry. So mixing in that, not worrying so much about the whole season with best player available, with stacking when it's important and vital, I think is the key to winning weekly winners. If I had to guess, and we really all are guessing because this is the 2nd year they've run it, you can't even look at the winners from last year and draw a big conclusion because there's so many injuries that could have taken out teams that actually were better teams that if they didn't have those injuries, they would have won it by a landslide with their strategy. So we all are truly guessing. I missed the draft, but back in the saddle, Smitty. Charles T., where have you been? Damn, it's good to see you, boy. I haven't seen Charles T. in here for a while. And Ron Navy, I'm sorry, you dropped a $20 hauler a long time ago, and then we started talking about that pick. Ron Navy, $20 hauler, let's go.
Alert. Super chat alert.
I'm sorry, Ron. Ron gets neglected because he's on the phone line. Ron said, let's ride smoking on fire. Thanks, Ron. Mike Vick, thank you for the super chat. We got Sebastian on the phone. Sebastian, have you talked yet? He's just been sitting there. Oh, okay. I forgot. Sebastian, what else you got?
You didn't get I gifted 10 memberships, too.
I got to fix that. So all these different plugins. Gifted, memberships, Ron Navy dropping 10 gifted memberships. Appreciate that. Coffee. Asher's got one. You know what I love about this is it really it highlights who doesn't have a membership. It's like, Asher, what are you doing, pal? Now you got one. Let's keep it going. Hector A got one. Al Bundy. He scored 4 touchdowns in one game. What are you doing without a membership? Ron just gave you one. Thomas got one. Robert Holland. Robert got one. Appreciate you all. Now that you got them, you know what to do with them. Ron Navy, thank you for dropping 10 gifted memberships. It's so stupid because I have this app that's supposed to show that on screen, and it doesn't work half the time. Everybody's Everybody's apps communicating together just never end up working. Come on. What else you got, Sebastian? Hello?
You must be on.
Sebastian? Hello?
Hey, can my team compete after 1 month, or is it chalk?
What team? On Underdog?
3.
Team 3? Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. Let me pull it back up. Team 3. Can your team compete? And don't worry, if it doesn't until week 10, you're fine. I mean, you get less shots at it, right? But if you build a team specifically for By-Mageddon, and you can have, some people do that. They'll draft a team around week 12 only. They don't care about, I mean, if they win, they win. They're hopeful that they get a team that can win weeks 2, 3. I think somebody won multiple weeks, if I remember correctly, but maybe not. Team number 3.
Like the all depreciating team.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sure it could. I mean, could it win 1 week? Sure, any of these teams could win 1 week. That's the beauty of weekly winners, right? Anybody's team could. Even this team from the 1 slot and even the team that from the 11 that drafted all wide receivers. If they get Tajay Spears and whoever he has to pop off, then, that's all he needs for 1 week, right? But your team from the 3, yeah, I just wouldn't want Keenan Allen. If you didn't go Keenan Allen, I would like your team a whole lot more. I think Tyreek, Debo, Mike Evans, and Anthony Richardson, and Evan Ingram, who was very underrated given what he did last year. I mean, anytime you have those guys on one team. Connor had more 20-plus yard runs than anybody in the National Football League last year, even though he was very inefficient in some ways. And I think he's 29. He's going to drop off. Like, you don't care if he drops off midway through the season. You just need him for one specific week. But, like, your team's good. I mean, it's solid. Do I think you could have drafted better? Yeah, but it doesn't mean you can't win 1 week. Maybe your team doesn't look great overall, but it is specifically built for week 7. And we just don't know it. That's the beauty of weekly winners. It's anybody can win. Anybody can win any given week. You could have the weirdest line. When you find like who was the best lineup for the week and you look at it and you're like, wow, that's wild. The best lineup of the week was Spears, Caleb, Adunze, and so you cuff those guys. You get Spears and Gus Edwards, and like you could literally have that kind of team and be the best fantasy team in the week, and nobody would ever draft it but that one person, and you win $20K. Who am I to say you can't win one single week with this team? It's just not the team I would have drafted. But what?
You know what week I'm gonna win?
Week 17?
Cooked after 1 month.
You love week
19.
Week 19.
I'll win week 19.
Okay. Week 19. Ron wants to win week 19. Steelers?
No, there is no week 19.
I know.
Why I'll win
I know.
it.
But I'm saying Steelers win week 19 for you?
Yeah.
I mean, technically there is a week 19. It's the playoffs.
Yeah, but there's no week 19 in this
Yeah, that's why I thought you were saying you're going to win it, though, is because the Steelers are going to win or something. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bob from Cali, you're live.
Hey, I'm going to follow on your YouTube.
How do you what?
Appreciate it.
How do you what? What, Bob?
Hey, Smitty.
Wait, hold on. Bob.
I wasn't speaking. So that was me. Somebody else just.
Oh, Sebastian, what are you saying? You're going to what on YouTube?
Oh, I said I'm going to follow on YouTube, but I appreciate your time.
Oh, you're dropping off. Okay. Thanks, Sebastian. Later. I thought you were seriously going to follow me on YouTube. I'm like, you aren't subscribed already? What's up, Bob?
I just wanted to get your thoughts on Mixon. What's the earliest round you're taking him, and what are the realistic expectations for him this season?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Mixon, to me, in a weekly winner, he's probably better than in a long season long for me. Mainly because I feel like, I guess what I would say to somebody is, hey, did we see Eckler drop off last year? The answer is yes. We saw him drop off. We're hopeful we get something out of him. And weekly winners, he's kind of more attractive in weekly winners because maybe he rejuvenates for 4 weeks and then he drops off again. That's typically how the body works, right? So The fact that we saw Mixon drop off, we haven't seen Christian McCaffrey drop off. We haven't seen Derrick Henry. Well, Derrick Henry slowed a little for sure, but he's still like a force, you know. So I'm worried about Henry dropping off. I'm worried about CMC being 28 and what happened to Eckler out of nowhere at that magical year, 28 years old. It didn't happen with Henry. Henry's an anomaly, though. And Henry busting through the age of 28 and so on and continuing to churn doesn't change the data, and it doesn't change anything. He's just an anomaly, and I don't even write him off right now walking into this season, even though he was a concern for me over the last 2 years. Like, I'm willing to, especially in weeklies, when he could be great for 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 2 months or whatever. But he's an anomaly. It doesn't change my thinking. Like, Christian McCaffrey's still a big risk at 28 years old. But Mixon, but he didn't drop off physically. So we're kind of thinking, you know, it's riskier, or at least as risky to doubt him than to believe in him. So he's kind of like you're teeter-tottering, and it's 50-50. And so you need to take some shares of McCaffrey because you don't want to get burned and not have him, you know, if he continues to do it. But you look at someone like Mixon, and he physically fell off a little last year. And now he's going to a very potent situation, could revive him a little bit, could put him in some opportunistic situations. Zeke Elliott fell off completely last year. But when he was placed in a scenario where he was catching a lot of footballs, he still was kind of productive. So could Houston kind of patch the hole for a year and maybe drag him along? Maybe, yeah. His ADP's kind of dependent on it. I don't know. Like, he went in this draft. If I go to the draft board here, let's see where Mixon went. I don't think his ADP's alarming. So if you want to take a gamble on him, I guess it just comes down for like to me, like, who do I like better than Mixon? So if we look for Joe, where's Joe at? Where'd he get drafted?
He won the sixth.
The sixth round. Okay, so yeah, Joe Mixon in round, did he? No, in our draft that I'm looking on screen here. Hold on. Where'd he go on this board? Oh, round 5. So we went at 56 overall. So in this case right here, James Cook went right ahead of him. Pacheco, rightly so. Pacheco and Etienne and Jacobs went right before James Cook. James Cook, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, David Montgomery, Kenneth Walker, Rashad White, Zamir White. I don't see anything wrong with that ADP. I like him in round 6 where you're talking, but I can understand anybody taking a gamble, especially in weeklies, but in normal Best Ball Mania or normal non-Best Ball, I think it is, here's the problem. I'd rather have Anthony Richardson if I don't have a quarterback yet than go Joe Mixon. I'd rather have CJ Stroud in round 5 if I don't have a quarterback yet. I'd rather go Dalton Kincaid like I did at 55 instead of going Joe Mixon 56. So those players are a lot better to me. And then if I was to get into round 6, and we're looking at round 6, and we look at this and we see the Hollywood Brown line. Hollywood Brown, Zamir White, Evan Ingram, Rashad White. I'd probably rather have Rashad White. Younger. I'd probably rather have Kenneth Walker. You know? I'd probably rather have...
Walker?
Huh?
How does Walker go behind Cook and Mixon? That doesn't make no sense at all.
Because... I mean, he's a steal this year, but he was a steal last year and didn't deliver all year. So people are just scared of him because they don't, you know.
How did he go until round 8?
Yeah.
Oh my, he's gonna be a league winner.
Yeah.
They're actually talks. I don't know if you covered it, but they're gonna sign him to a big extension here before the season starts. They didn't pick up his 5-year option. They're gonna sign him to an extension though.
I'm sure they're waiting to see how he does. You know, like if they sign him, I don't know that they'll sign him.
No, they're gonna sign him. The talk is they're gonna sign him
before
prior to the season starts.
Okay, if they do that, that puts a lot. Like his ADP will climb 2 or 3 rounds, easy. But let me put it this way. Who's on the phone? Bob. I would rather have in weekly winners Jonathan Brooks over Mixon straight up. And we're talking about a 2-3 round difference right there. I'd rather have Trey Benson in a weekly straight up over Joe Mixon. Now, in non-weekly winners, where you're trying to accumulate. You have to, every week matters, and it gets consolidated, or it gets, collected together to try and, advance through all, 14 weeks. Then it becomes harder to say I want Brooks or Benson, because they're not necessarily like in the running for elite carries right away. But if I could get Benson and Connor together, which I easily could do from like 85 overall and 95 overall like territory, you get Connor and Benson, I'd rather use that Joe Mixon pick on Kincaid or Stroud or Richardson. Do you know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, I don't have a problem with Mixon's ADP of 6th round, top of 6th round. I just don't like exploring it.
So I just want to clarify, we're taking Henry, Josh Jacobs, Rashid White, Kenneth Walker, Trey Benson, James Conner, Zamir White, all those guys over Mixon, preferably.
I mean, you could debate like, it depends. If it's weekly winners, yes, I would. But if it's not weekly winner, and again, weekly winner, for anybody watching that doesn't know, it's every single week is separate from the other. Like, you're just trying to win 20K every single week. You get a reset. Like, you could have all rookies that don't even play weeks 1 through 5. Doesn't matter. Week 6 through 17, every single individual week is separate. And then you're just trying to, and it's all one draft. You don't get to redraft or anything. You're trying to strategically draft that team for the entirety of the 17 leagues. It's like week 1's a league, and it's over. Week 2's a league, and it's over. Week 3's an independent league, and it's over. It's 20K to first place every single individual week. So Benson's way more valuable than Mixon to me because of how much I value him and what I see him doing, mid-season on. Because I think he's a top 8. I think he's a top 7 to 10 running back, maybe. But that's me. Jonathan Brooks, same thing. But Mixon in a non-best ball or regular best ball mania is probably, to most people, smarter than all those players. I don't know that I feel that way, which is why I'm telling you I'd rather go at cost Zamir White later, Benson Connor later, than go Mixon. It's not that I'm taking them over Mixon. It's that I'm taking Kincaid or Stroud or Richardson or someone like that, and then I'm going later at cost of entry a different player. You know what I'm saying? It's not as simple as like I'm drafting them over Mixon.
If he has a revitalized season because of his line and the players around him and Stroud and whatnot, what is his ceiling? Like, what's the best scenario, best outcome possible? He has a little more magic left in him.
I mean, it's a great offense, bro. If he surprisingly didn't drop off and he was just dealing with an injury and he didn't tell anybody, and he still hasn't told us, and we have no clue, and there's some crazy scenario, and he's the same player he was, let's say, during his good parts last year, or and he had like a relatively good year. It's just like you could tell he dropped off. You could tell he's losing that, even if it was subtle. Like, you could just tell, right? When Gurley dropped off, you could just see it. It was like, oh my God. And I beat the drum on that. And people were still drafting him 1, 2, 3, 4. And I was like, don't draft him, period. You could tell he dropped off. That was, I think, the first year I did YouTube. And I did that. That was my first 10,000. I think it was 5 or 10,000. No Todd Gurley, like I did H-An. I mean, anything can happen, bro. I'm just telling you, I don't want to take that chance. I'm not dancing with Joe Mixon this year. I'm drafting Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Kincaid, Tank Dell, especially Mahomes, who goes in round 5 all the time. I'm drafting those guys over Mixon at cost of entry, and then I'm taking at cost of entry Benson Connor. Or like Ron said, Najee's going, bro, Najee went in round number 8. I'm not saying I'm feeling great about Najee like by himself, but Warren, if I show screen here, Warren is so easy to cuff to him. You might have to do a back-to-back rounds, but it's not difficult. Jaylen Warren went at, where the hell did he go? Jaylen Warren, he went in the 10th round. So Najee went at the beginning of round 8, which was a little early. I think he's been going later than that, or right around there maybe. So Najee went at round Yeah, no, he's been right around there. 85 overall, so right turning into round number 9. And Jaylen Warren went about 120 picks later. So you could get Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris together, or James Conner and Benson together, and have a better running back than Joe Mixon. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's all drafting smarter, not harder.
I appreciate it. I have one more question. I know you've given me a lot of time, and I appreciate it. Do you think Patrick Mahomes has another down year, considering a few guys aren't there? Kelsey's older. Everybody there is older. They haven't really gotten anybody new outside of Worthy, who doesn't really appear to have the greatest of great hands.
My
answer
is this.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
5.1, 4.8 ADP, bro. As of May 1, this ADP fluctuates. Not only do I think he's a bounce back candidate, he is one of the top 4 or 5 best picks in all of fantasy football 2024. He's being slept on. He's a big name sleeper. He's a 4th and 5th round sleeper. Oh, you can't use sleeper. I can. I will. I use a descriptor. Look, I've been doing this longer than most people that complain about it. You can't use the word sleeper. We're sharding in their diapers. Some of them are negative years old when I started doing this. And I've been saying sleeper that way the entire time. Sleeper, big name sleeper, 3rd round sleeper, 1st round sleeper, deep sleeper, unknown sleeper, big name sleeper, bounce back sleeper. You can descript it however you want. It's a descriptor. I'm putting
Burrow's gonna.
So Burrow's a huge deep. He's like almost a deep sleeper. He's gone around 6-7. Burrow's a fantastic sleeper, but Mahomes is going in the 4 to 5 territory. Could be the number 1 overall scorer in fantasy. I think Hurts is better. I like Hurts even more because Hurts is going. He fell to 4.1 and 4.2 on Best Ball Mania recently. I haven't looked to see if it updated again. But those are the 2 of the top 5-6 best picks in fantasy football. Burrow's in there too. Jahmyr Gibbs is probably the best pick in all of fantasy football at 12-13 overall. And that's a big name guy people are sleeping on because he should be going 4, 5, or 6 overall, and he's going 12. And while that might not seem like a big difference, that's double the ADP. Going from 6 to 12 is double, believe it or not. So he's 6 picks. He's half a round. He's being completely undervalued. Gibbs, Kyron, Hurts, and Mahomes, and those are probably, and really even Breece Hall going around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those are probably all my favorite picks in 2024 as of right now. So Mahomes is going to absolutely smash, bro. I mean, you're buying him at like a struggle bus territory. You know, the reason he's going 4-5 is because he struggled. His wide receiver room and situation is, I don't want to say heads and shoulders above last year, but it feels like it will be. Even if Rashee Rice is off the team, they cut him tomorrow for some reason. They have more wide receiver production this year than they had last year because Worthy drops and all, whatever. His speed, getting him the football, handing him the football, like just there's a lot of ways they can get him the ball without, and work on the catching and stuff. But I mean, that's something that doesn't concern me too much because Hollywood Brown's there. Kelsey's motivated. I do think Kelsey's going to kind of have his head on straight this year because look, his butterflies, his cloud 9, all that stuff after about a full calendar year. Things change a little bit in that department. So he's going to be used to his routines again. It's not going to be the focal point. He's going to look at himself and he's going to go, I want to focus on football. I've got 1-2 years left. I got to get back to this. He's been training really hard. I think he's getting older. There's a concern that he drops off. But at the end of the day, this is a better football team coming out of the Super Bowl and the fixes they made than it was all year long when he struggled, and people will remember that. And that's fine. I'm going to take advantage. And if, let's say I'm wrong and Mahomes struggles a little bit, I get my value back. I don't lose a thing. Mahomes disappoints me because he doesn't win my league, but I'm getting 4th or 5th round value out of Mahomes, no matter what. All right, appreciate you, Bob.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, Kyron's a huge sleeper. H-Chan. Ron, I think it was it today? I think it was last night. H-Chan went around 3. Like, that could be the best pick in fantasy. H-Chan went around 3. I don't know if that's going to be a regular thing.
I got in two the puppy or the chihuahuas or whatever, one of them or both of them. I don't know which ones they were, but I got CMC, H-Chan in one, and I got CMC and God, I just had a brain fart. The one you just mentioned.
Weekly winner?
Yeah. No, not weekly winner.
Best Ball Mania?
No, regular best.
Mania.
The Chihuahua and the puppies.
Oh.
Those are the ones I'm doing the 8-hour draft.
Oh, okay.
But I got, I got the other running back that you just mentioned. The Rams running back.
Oh, Kyron.
Man,
Kyron.
what am I-
He's Kyron.
Kyron, yeah.
He's 7 feet tall. I think you need a reminder.
I got.
I think you need a reminder.
Well, my foot was bothering me, so I took.
He's Kyron, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
I saw Mr. TD said I thought Kyron was the best sleeper. I mean, he's right there, bro. I mean, it's like splitting hairs. It all depends on their evolving and ever-changing ADP. Gibbs fell to 12. Now Gibbs is the best value in fantasy, but Kyron fell to mid 2. He became the best pick in fantasy. Like, it's gonna ever evolve, bro. I'm not an Excel sheet Eric that you're looking at that's gonna stick to something in the preseason and just get my sheet out when people ask me questions in week 4. Who's the best running back? This is what I had back in May 16, 2000. Like, it's gonna evolve. But Kyron, Gibbs, Jalen Hurts, and Mahomes, and now kind of Breece Hall, like those are, and Benson's becoming one of them. But those are the picks, man. And JD5 too. Like at some point, JD5, depending on where you get him, this is like AR5 last year. And I don't know if people remember AR5. He became, before he got injured, top 5 trade value for quarterbacks. You literally had to go to somebody that was sitting on AR5 because they drafted 2 great quarterbacks, AR5 and another quarterback. That's traditionally how people drafted AR5 last year. So anybody that had him had a surplus and they didn't know what to do. And so AR5 was very attainable because they're like, how do I sit Lamar for him? I got to trade him. He's just sitting there wasting. People had a natural instinct to get rid of AR5 last year. So JD5, AR5, you would have to give up top 5 talent. You know, I lost Burrow. Who did I lose? I lost Burrow and I think I lost Burrow and another quarterback or something. And so I had to make trades and go get AR5. And then at one point I traded AR5 to get Puka later or something like that. And the AR5 got hurt, or I forget, maybe AR5 I traded for AR5 and I traded Puka for something else. I forget what it was. But man, that was my Moon Man team, or my Mars Man team was amazing. And it kept getting hit with injuries. I lost AR5, I lost Burrow, I lost Eckler, played like crap, Kelsey played like crap. My team was on fire. I had H-Han. I had Puka. My team got second to last in the Mars Man because I just kept getting blasted with injuries. It was crazy.
Doused by water.
What?
By water and the injured.
What? I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
You got doused by water and the fire went out by injuries.
Yeah. DC, dude, you're live. What's up? It sounds like you're making a lot of noises there. What's going on? You working out?
No, I'm sorry. I was waiting on you. I didn't know I was being listened to.
Oh, what's up? What can I do for you?
Yeah, so, first of all, last night when we were talking about Gibbs and I said he shouldn't be going second, that's because I usually do super flex. You know what I mean? So when I said he should be a third-round pick, I was meaning because, I'm usually doing super flexing. So I just wanted to get that straight. Listen, Kyron Williams. I'm not too sure about him this year. Now, I was on Kyron Williams 2 years ago in Dynasty. Had him as a sleeper Dynasty running back, and, man, he paid dividends. So I've been on him for 2 years. But this year, I'm not too sure about him now, Smitty. Blake Corum, I believe, is a better running back. And, that scares me a little bit. Both of them, I think, will contribute a lot this year. But we know Kyron Williams sometimes get hurt, as he did last year. And if that's the case, and, Corum gets in, listen, one thing that we know, about Sean McVay, he's going to run with the hot hand.
Not necessarily. Sean McVay, I think, is a very, very, very untrue way to describe Sean McVay. He's a one running back guy, and he can be hot hand when he's trying to find his new RB. But, bro, if you don't think Kyron Williams earned that job, even if he was to miss 2 or 3 games, I don't know what you watched last year, because he was arguably the second best back in the National Football League on except for receiving, but he overdid so much on the ground that he still was. Even if you were to sum total everything up, this guy scored 12 rushing touchdowns in 12 games. He scored 15 total touchdowns in 12 games. Kyron Williams was, when you say Corum's a better running back, I scratch my head. Corum's not even close to the same running back as Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams may have been a lesser prospect or overlooked prospect. That doesn't change that Brady was a great player just because he was a bad, he's a bad prospect. How could Brady be good? When players get overlooked, they get overlooked. It happens all the time. And I loved him coming in as a rookie. And I always say I regret not doubling down walking into last year on Kyron, because I didn't. And I'll admit that till I'm blue in the face, that's one of my biggest regrets of last season, was not doubling down again on it. But I absolutely love Kyron coming out. He's a very, very sneaky prospect. And I thought I have a video out that says he's going to take, before Akers got injured, I say he's going to take Akers' job. And then Kyron got hurt. Now getting hurt's a concern, and that's why Kyron's a must-cuff to Corum, or Corum's a must-cuff to Kyron. There's no way of dancing around that. You draft Kyron and you don't cuff him to Corum, you should be ashamed of yourself there. But to suggest that Corum's a better running back than the current version of Kyron Williams that's now existing in the NFL, I don't care about college prospect. I don't care about draft capital. I don't care about any of that. When he climbed into the role, and literally, if you extrapolate his 12 games across a 6 to 17 game season, he is barely behind Christian McCaffrey, and both Kyron and McCaffrey are head and shoulders above every other running back in the National Football League. This guy's the most reliable running back when he's on the field, plays with injuries, and just gets it done. He is one of the best pure runners currently in the National Football League between the tackles. Doesn't do as much in the receiving game as you would like, but he scores touchdowns, and he's almost 100% lock for 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown every game he plays. I totally disagree. Corum's not even close to a better running back in my mind. Not even close.
Well, Smitty, listen. Kyron Williams, listen, I was on him as a rookie too. Like I told you, I was on him 2 years ago.
So why jump off?
I had no, listen to me. Because, listen, last year he was a great back, but he didn't have Blake Corum behind him last year.
Doesn't matter. Listen, but who's Blake Corum anyway? Who cares? He's Take Bigsby. He's a good running back, and if he gets in there, McVay's system is so good, anybody's going to produce in it. I'm not naive to the fact that Kyron plays hard, kind of like Pacheco, and and I'm not naive to the fact that McVay ran him 99%. He barely came off the field, which is why I think they drafted Corum to give it like an 80-20 split, which is what we want. We want to keep Kyron healthy. But to suggest that this is going to go a certain way, when you saw when this guy was on the field, he was literally only second to Christian McCaffrey every time he was on the football field. And draft capital means nothing once you break through and become that guy, no one cares. No one's trying to take Arian Foster out of his starting job after he cemented himself in. No one's trying to take Brock Purdy out of the starting job because he was Mr. Irrelevant. Once you exceed expectations and get into a certain like realm of talent, then that's it. It doesn't matter the draft capital anymore. Somebody came in the live stream the other day and said Corum's got higher draft capital, so he's got more value. And it's like, that's laughable. That's absolutely laughable. And the other thing too is most people that, and I said this to you last night. I think you called in last night about the Gibbs thing, right? You sound a little bit, bro. I have a psych degree. Let me put a little psychology mix on this. You sound like the kind of person that tries to run away before things can fall apart. And you're wanting to do it with Jahmyr Gibbs, and you have no excuse for wanting to do it with Jahmyr Gibbs. The future's so bright for him. For you to say that Monty's not going away and you don't think there's enough work for Gibbs, and you to maybe not want Gibbs, you keep saying it's about your super flex value. You even called in to try and correct that. But last night, your words were, I don't know that I think Gibbs is going to be able to meet the expectation. And you're trying to, you're a good eye for talent. This is my psychological breakdown on you. You've got a good eye for talent. You told me about Gibbs. You told me you liked Gibbs. You told me you liked Kyren when he was a rookie. It sounds like, I don't know you very well. It sounds like you got a pretty good eye, if those are all true statements by you, that you liked those guys before they became anything. But it sounds to me like maybe you jump ship a little early and you try and jump when there might not be a problem.
Well, Smitty, listen. Fantasy is about projection. It's about prognosticating. It's about prognosticating because you got to predict what's going to happen, before it actually even happens. So, that's where I'm at. So, I think you had me right. I think you got me right. You were smack on with the, prognosis. I appreciate that, though.
Hey, you don't have to answer this, but have you ever had this trouble with relationships?
Yeah, but I found one, and it's my last one.
Hey,
and I married her.
Hey,
I never thought that ever happened.
Bro, I'm happy that you found something that like broke that itch of like, hey, let me end this before it ends up ending on me. Like you're trying to break up with them first, right? Isn't that kind of the way you've lived life a little bit? You want to break up with someone before they break up with you, right?
Yeah, because you know what? You know what's happening. Listen, I got a saying. The only thing consistent in life is change. So you got to put almost predict it.
Yeah.
You have to predict change.
I hear you, but you go ahead.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me back in for a second. Right? Kyren Williams was a 5th-round pick, right? Blake Corum, 3rd-round pick. So the team is more invested in Corum than Kyren. Hold up. Wait a minute. Follow me, right? Now, you and I both know that the reason why Pacheco is who he is today and Kyren Williams is who he is today is because of system and opportunity. They got an opportunity and they fell into the right system, but coming out, they weren't predicted as these, great running backs that was going to, be the staple point of a, team. No, they got opportunity and they fell into the right system, right? And so that's what happened with Kyren Williams. They got lucky. They may be ready to move on from Kyren before,
You're breaking up. You're breaking up with Kyren before he's even done anything wrong, bro. You're just making. Hey. Just like your girl's that special girl that broke the trend for you in the relationship department of trying to abandon before you get abandoned. You have to look at this the same way, bro. Kyren's your guy. You found him. He's not going anywhere on you. He's not going to fail you. He's not going to get ice and never come back. This is Kyren's your man. Okay, you can cuff Corum to him to be extra secure. Okay, and that's a very smart maneuver. But this whole notion that I just said this before you said what you said. This whole notion that they drafted Corum at higher draft capital, so they're more invested in Corum than Kyren is not true. It may have been true before Kyren turned into Kyren, but that no longer matters. It's completely irrelevant. And anybody suggesting that the draft value will end up influencing them to move on from Kyren after he's proved to be arguably the second best, if not the first best, probably the best running back in the league between the tackles. Like, Bijan's going to be better because he does so much more all over the field. Gibbs, same thing. Breece Hall, same thing. You got, so those guys that's why those guys have as much, if not more potential in some ways. McCaffrey, same thing. But there's probably no better running back in the league I can think of that if my life was on the line and we need 100 yards and a touch, or I'm in trouble, I'm going to Kyren. I'm going to Kyren because he proved every time he's on the field he can get that done. And if you're just, instead of being worried about getting broken up with by Kyren, if you're just more focused on getting Corum, then you'd be fine. Like, cuff the two together. But to run away from Kyren instead of just running toward Corum and cuffing him and putting him in your pocket, I don't understand that. I don't understand why you would not look at Kyren as a league-winning top 5 running back that's now falling to 15, 18, 20 overall in existing leagues to that kind of trade value. The only people that, and I'm just going to say this, man, I don't mean offense to this, the only people that argue against Kyren are the people that didn't draft him or gave up on him or want to give up on him in your case because you just want to break up with him before he breaks up with you. But those people are the ones that can't let go of the fact that he is who he is now. They want to be so right about missing. They don't want to be the guy that missed the boat on Kyren. So they keep doubling down and digging a hole and saying, Kyren's going to fail. Kyren's going to fail. And if he fails, then retroactively, you weren't wrong anymore. I was actually not that wrong when you guys said that I missed Kyren because you failed. See? Kyren's the guy, bro.
All right, listen. Kyren is not going to get a second contract because of Blake Corum. He's not going to get that second contract. You and I both know it.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
Huh? Come on. You think they're going to give him a second contract?
Have you listened to a word I've said? Have you listened to a word I've said?
No, I did.
This is a guy that could lead the league, and this is my pick for the rushing title in 2024. Kyren Williams is going to win the rushing title, in my opinion. So Corum is a cuff, bro. He's a backup running back in the National Football League. They did not draft him to start. Yeah, I know, but he is.
You have to cuff him.
I get that, but he's not. Corum is not drafted to be their starter. If injury, let's say he tears his ACL, Kyren tears his ACL, then then there's a total different scenario. You got a nice young running back they drafted high. And then we have to start worrying. But that's why I'm telling you and going to the ends of the earth to say if you don't cuff Corum to Kyren to protect Kyren Williams' top 5 running back value that's disguised inside the mid-second round, and you don't see that whole package as an opportunity of glory, then you're literally looking over and past the value and trying to be too cute with it all, bro. You're trying to be way too cute with this situation. Kyren's a 15 to 18 overall pick in redraft and in best ball. He's a 15 to 18 overall pick and some probably downstream in a dynasty. There's no risk involved if you can easily cuff Corum to him and guarantee yourself top 5 running back numbers.
No, listen, I agree, Smitty. You have to cuff Kyren. You have to. That's ball understood. Where I come from, I don't know whether you shoot dice, but ball understood. Like, that's common sense. That's common knowledge. We all know that. If there's any running back you got to cuff, it's Kyren Williams. But, listen, I didn't want to make that be the focal point of my question. My true question was sleeper tight ends, Smitty. Sleeper tight ends.
Ben.
Listen, I called Cade Otton last year. I was telling everybody, Cade Otton. And he ended the season, including the playoffs, well with Baker. This year I got Sennett, and I'm cuffing him with Ertz, right? But I need some sleeper tight ends. I got a few.
You're too late.
The Moon Man dropping loads in outer space.
I just pressed the Moon Man button. Yeah, Sennett's on the Moon Man. Sennett's on the Moon Man. Look. There's a lot of. If you go to thefantasyfootballshow.com, if anybody has that membership, get on over there and get it. If you don't, so we're talking dynasty tight ends. You want sleeper tight ends? I mean, Sennett.
No, redraft.
Okay. Redraft. I mean, Sennett fits the bill, obviously. So he's on the Moon Man list for a reason. The guys like Likely and potentially Kraft, those guys are great later, deeper, but the tight end pool is so deep this year. I don't think we've ever had a tight end pool this deep. You can get, I don't even know that you need to have conversations about how deep can you find a potential like Kate Otten or something like that this year, when you literally have Luke Musgrave, who's probably the guy I'm going to tell you. Luke Musgrave, Dallas Goedert going 12, 13, 11 overall for people. And Njoku's hard to fit into anybody's top 10, 12 rankings. Evan Ingram's falling to 8, 9, 10 somehow, even though he was like a top 4 tight end last year. Dalton Schultz is got great rapport. Like all those guys, I don't know that there's even a need for like a deep sleeper tight end in 2024, because you could literally, look what I just did in this draft right here. I drafted one hell of a tight end room, and I didn't have to go after any sleepers really. Luke Musgrave and Dalton Kincaid, But if you wanted to go Luke Musgrave and Kraft, that kind of covers you for that Green Bay tight end, which I think will have a big year in Green Bay. So my answer to you would be Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave was a huge prospect that got injured. And sometimes rookie tight ends don't do well their first year and they blow up their second year. Think, TJ Hawkinson, he did that. So Luke Musgrave will be my guy that I'll give you. I think there's a plethora of guys that you just don't even need to go near, but are solid grabs. Sinnett's probably the deepest you even need to go because he'll be available. A lot of layman's will not know about Sinnett, and they will not take him. You'll be able to easily snipe him early enough. So Sinnett and Luke Musgrave.
No, wait a minute, hold up. Smitty, listen, that used to be true. I used to be able to get Sinnett 10th, 11th round. Like the second or maybe the last pick of the draft or close to it. I used to be able to get him in. But because of you, since you stopped talking about Sinnett, I got to get him a whole lot earlier now than what I used to, because I think you didn't tell Damascus. I got to get him now around 15, 16.
Maybe, but he's still going at I'm looking at the tight end rankings here, bro, and he's still, Sinnett is so far down there. He's still going, he's definitely climbing, but he's 149 overall. Are we really nitpicking on needing a deeper tight end sleeper than 149 overall? Like Luke Musgrave is going, Luke Musgrave's going at, good God, he's going at 154. Like, how much deeper can I get on that, bro? Like those are as deep as you need to go.
How many tight ends do you draft in basketball? How many tight ends do you draft?
I always draft at least 3. Or I draft no more than 3 and no less than... I draft 3. Every time, pretty much 3.
Wow, I draft 4.
I don't hate that.
I can't do 3.
I don't hate that, but you got to balance everything.
You got a Conquo that should have a good year this year. You have Woods from Indy that...
Jelani.
They've gotten stronger. Those guys are sleepers that you could get really late, and probably will end up having good years this year.
Yeah, I just think that you like Cole Kmet, Otten, Likely, Schultz, Ben Sinnett, Ferguson, Hawkinson, Goddard, Evan Ingram, and Njoku. Those are all 20, roughly 20 to 10 overall tight ends. like you almost don't even. Ron's right; those are good picks if you needed to go that deep. But it's like you're literally talking about a handful of guys that will not get drafted, or at least in the final 2 rounds. But you don't need to wait until the last round. Then if Luke Musgrave and Sinnett are going now 3 rounds before the end of your draft, so be it. Reach a little bit. Grab Sinnett's worth it, bro. Sinnett might be this year's Sam Laporta. So if you have to take him around 15, who cares? I don't know that I worry so much about finding that round 17 and 18 tight end. Luke Musgrave and Sinnett should be plenty deep. And Goddard is fantastic outside of the top 10. That's one of my favorite tight ends to grab outside of the top 10, 11 is Goddard.
All right, Smitty. So, one last question.
All right, last question. I got to get to Travis. All right, go ahead.
Right. So, why don't you do more super flexes? I know I asked that question before, but I'm asking you, it a different way, I guess. Do you prefer standard or super flex?
I love both. I love both, and I think I unfairly get spoken to about this, which I'm fine. I'm a big boy. I'm not mad at you for saying that. But I feel like people say things like that a lot. Like, Smitty, you don't cover Superflex enough. Smitty, you don't cover this enough. I have a 8 p.m. show that sometimes, especially during the year, goes 3 hours, 3.5 hours. We've gone 4.5 hours long before. I have a daily show that's between an hour and a half and 4 hours long. My phone lines are open. I can talk about whatever anybody wants to talk about. So in some ways, the onus is on all of you to ask a Superflex question because we'll have open topics. But also, we can't best ball draft Superflex until they offer Superflex drafts. So they will be doing that very soon. Once they do that, I don't know if you guys remember last year, Ron, I'm sure you remember this. Travis, I'm sure you remember this. But once they go to Superflex, we're like all jonesing for it because we haven't seen it for a while, right? But then you get Superflexed out because we'll draft Superflex for like a month or two straight. I remember going, God, can we get back to normal drafting? So we'll have a handful of months where we're doing Superflex best ball drafts every single night, talking Superflex during those drafts. We've been live for an hour. We've been live for 2 hours, about 2 hours tonight. And if this was a Superflex draft, we'd be having Superflex conversations. So it's kind of seasonal in a way, in terms of when Underdog's dropping Superflexes. So I think we do a lot of it. It's just, it's kind of up to people to call in about it. I do cover it on certain topics, and maybe I do need to create some shows on it that are dedicated for it once in a while. I get that. But I don't know. I mean, if there's a Jalen Hurts show, we certainly can have a Superflex conversation at any moment about Jalen Hurts in Superflex. All we have to do is get a question from anybody. Super chat, a phone call. So, bring it to the table, bro. Call in and talk Superflex anytime you want.
All right. And the last question.
That was your last question, but okay, go ahead. Another one.
No. Which do you prefer? You didn't answer that question.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna break up with the show before the show breaks up with you?
No, I love you, Smitty. I ain't going nowhere.
Are you gonna out of nowhere be like, I'm just gonna leave Smitty because he'll end up missing on a pick, and I'm just gonna walk away. I prefer
You don't know.
I prefer non-Superflex if I have to pick, but I Superflex is definitely fun. I still like it. I'm kind of old school, bro. I've been doing this professionally since 2003. I've been playing fantasy football since most of you were negative years old, except for Ron, obviously. No offense, Ron. So, like...
I'm 58.
Okay, and you.
50 years old.
Okay,
I've been
and you.
playing fantasy since the 1990s.
Yeah, so have I.
Okay.
So my first year was 1994. I played my first fantasy league. I've been playing fantasy nonstop since 1994. So there's very few.
About 94, 95.
Yeah, there's very few people I've ever run into that play much longer. There have been a couple, but most.
Wow.
But
Wait a minute, hold on.
That was all newspaper.
Hold up.
I'm 20 years old.
Draft parties at the house.
All right, all right, DC dude. We'll see you later, bro. Appreciate it. Call in anytime. Call in anytime for Superflex, all right?
DC, I'm with you. I like Quorum more. Smitty knows I like Quorum more than Smitty likes Quorum. But I think it's going to work out more like of Najee, Warren, or Gibbs and Montgomery. I think that's what you're going to look at for the Rams quarterback with Quorum. I think he's going to get his work. I think he's going to do good. If there's an injury, he'll step in. Maybe in a year or two, he might be in a position to take over. But that's what I think is going to happen.
What's up, Travis? You're live.
Travis can wait. I intimidate Travis, so you don't have to go to Travis.
Hey,
he already put in.
Yes, he's here, Ron.
So,
what's up, Smitty?
What's
up, Travis?
up with that, Travis? Why I intimidate you?
I'm just messing with you, Ron.
I know. I'm just messing with you right now.
How you doing, Travis?
Good. I
we
find out on Friday.
So we're okay to talk about this.
Yeah. Say whatever. Yeah.
Travis broke his kneecap, so he's on IR. You find out when?
I think I find out Friday. Friday when I'll have surgery sometime next week. But it's crazy. It's just an outpatient. Well, for anyone who doesn't know, I have a form of muscular dystrophy. Played baseball, sports all the way up till I was 19. I got diagnosed, and so it's over the years it's gotten progressively worse. I still live a pretty normal life, but I have some weakness in my legs, my shoulders, and if I'm not careful, I can fall. And I happen to step the wrong way. I'm usually careful. But I fell, and the way my knee went, it bent right up under me. And so, the knee just bent all the way and just popped it. So
he tried to sidestep. He tried to do a jump cut.
Be praying for you.
Pretty much. I tried to turn too quick.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Be praying. We need to put you in the bubble. Call you the bubble so you don't get hurt.
Probably would be a bad idea with me.
Well, hopefully you
keep myself in good shape.
It feels like based on what you described that it's all kind of in one piece still and everything. It's just a matter of stabilizing it, let it get fused back together.
They said they know there's no tendons are torn. They don't think there's any ligaments torn.
Good.
And I think if there's any, I might have cartilage because I think I already had some torn cartilage just because of the way I walk and stuff like that. So if that's a little messed up, they'll clean that up. But it's an outpatient surgery. I come home the same day. They put a couple screws in. So
you're over 28, right? So you're done anyway as a running back. So the cartilage doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm 36.
Yeah. So you're 20.
I'm
You're done at 28. 28's the cutoff. Where cartilage don't matter anymore. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Actually, if he's a tight end or a quarterback, he could still go until. Look at Aaron Rodgers. You got 4 more years.
That'd be about it.
I guess Brady.
Yeah, got shoulder issues too, so he can't throw the ball.
Yeah, he could zip it still.
Well, yeah, I had 2 back surgeries too, so.
Oh boy.
He can zip it. He can still zip it.
I've been cut all up, so
yeah,
I appreciate it.
Well, I guess we won't be seeing you in Vegas. I guess you're out for Vegas, but
why?
Yeah,
that's a truck, bro. I couldn't imagine. Trying to. He's probably going to be on one of those scooter things for a little while or something. I can't imagine trying to go through a stadium swim.
I can put full weight on it right away, but
come down here.
Between PT and everything, I'm going to be a couple months.
Hey, come down here to Pensacola, and then we'll just hop in my vehicle. We'll load the scooters up. I got scooters here, and we'll just drive up. We'll just hook it up. Tell the tickler he fighted us both. So we'll just go to the ticklers and.
Go to the Ticklers. Stay with the Ticklers. Keeping Up with the Ticklers. That'd be a great show. I get to see Ron. I get to see Travis in one of those baby backpack harnesses on Ron Navy, just walking around the stadium swim.
Try with me. Walking.
All right. Anyway.
I got walk. We'll just ride. We'll ride in style.
I could just see Ron. I could just see Ron right now. Stadium swim not fully equipped in the owner suite where we're at for the scooters, and Ron complaining, "Let me talk to your manager right now. I've got a scooter. I can't get into the owner suite. I'm trying to ride." And they're like, "Son of a bitch. Get the legal team on the phone." Hey, I gotta go because it's really late. So let me jump to Travis real quick and see what he wants. Then we'll circle back to Ron, and then I'll probably get out of here. Travis, what was the what were you thinking when you called? And I don't want to sidetrack you too much.
Just 2 quick things. One on the Corum Kyron thing. Like, I understand the hype for Corum, and I'm not even saying I don't think he can be a good back, but I mean, even if you look back at Kyron's last year at college compared to Corum's, I know Corum had 28 touchdowns. Kyron had like 17, and they were 1 yard different in total yards from scrimmage in terms of rushing and receiving. And Kyron came out of college with really experienced, like, pass catching chops. And I'm not saying Corum can't catch the ball, but it's not something he did a ton of in college. So, there's that with Kyron that makes him a truly complete back. He can do everything.
Yeah,
and Corum may have to learn a little more of that.
And I don't know how much I can really emphasize, and I try to emphasize it, that again, like, somebody's going to come in here, like, let's say Kyron gets hurt for 4 games and Corum plays great for 4 games. Someone's going to meander on into the chat and be like, told you. But, like, I'm just going to hit the button. I'm just going to go, told me what?
The Saturn Men.
Because the Saturn Men clearly shows, and we continue to promote and continue to say over and over, you must draft the duo. If you're in an existing league, you must try to get the cuff. What did I do in our existing Dynasty League, Ron? I went and traded for a pick and took Corum a little early, or I didn't say a little early. I drafted him right about where his ADP is, but I took him when I do have a pretty decent need at wide receiver, but it's more important for me in a Dynasty to grab Corum and Kyron instead of taking a stab at a wide receiver like Franklin or whatever. I wanted to have Kyron and Corum together, and it was vital for my Dynasty value in a guy that I see as a top 5 Dynasty running back if cuffed appropriately. And if you don't cuff him in Dynasty, there is a concern. So existing leagues, there's that problem, and you may not have Corum and Kyron together, and it could burn you a little bit if Kyron is missing 4 or 5 games. He runs very aggressively, and McVay does run him into the ground. He was never off the field, which is why they drafted Corum. But I think that in redraft, you have literally no excuse for reaching a round ahead of ADP. Don't let him climb up to like the 3rd running back listed at any point and get sniped. Grab him 5, 6 7 running backs before he's going to go. When you sort by running back, make sure you're safe. Grab both of them. And then at the end of the day, having the cuff with Kyron at value 18 overall is better than if they never drafted Corum at all. Like, that's the problem I have with a lot of the takes that people bring to the table. Is this is similar to like the Charbonnet Walker situation, even though that didn't really work out the way we wanted it. It was more Pete Carroll, not the situation. Kyron without Corum being drafted costs more. So Kyron with Corum drops ADP into the 2nd round. This is a 1st round player. This is a 1st round player that now goes 15 to 18 overall. And there's a chance he drops further. And you now get to draft him because of the fear of Blake Corum, who in redraft or in Dynasty, frankly, at 2.1 or 2.2 does not cost that much to cuff. So you ask me to press the button to undo the Blake Corum drafting to the Rams so that I can protect all my Kyron shares. I tell you I won't press it. I'd rather just have the cheaper Kyron in all the redraft leagues upcoming. Find a way to cuff Kyron in Dynasty in the existing leagues that I have him, and I've done that, except for in 1 league. And in redraft, I'm going to relish in the fact that I'm drafting a top 5 running back, a 1st round player, now in the middle to late round 2, because people are petrified of Blake Corum, who is a vital necessity to cuff, but very easy to do so. It really is that simple to me. And I don't know why everyone's got to be scared of this situation when it's so easily cuffable.
And going off that too, I'm getting a lot of Kyron, Corum, Benson, and Connor, like you talked about, and I find myself getting a ton of Brooks and Chuba even, and I draft a lot of Brooks on his own. Anyways, that was the other thing I called about was I know you've mentioned it and talked highly on him and everything. Chuba was actually very solid for fantasy last year. I ended up with him I think in the Marsman League, and he bailed me out a couple weeks even.
Yeah, he wasn't amazing, used a lot.
He was very solid.
Yeah, he's almost used more than solid. Like the production was almost like just there. He didn't do right. He could have done better with it, and so you put a better back in there.
Right. But like I was thin
at running back by the end of the year, and so he was going into my flex, and he was winning. He was helping me win a couple weeks. But I mean, as long as his knee is good to go, I think Brooks has taken that job pretty quick, though.
Yeah,
I really like. I mean, I'm very high on Brooks.
I love, and as you saw, did you see my team that I drafted in this draft?
Yeah, that's why I was kind of calling on it. I saw the guys you picked, so I just kind of wanted to chime in on all that. Then the Kyron talk started up as well, so.
Yeah, I'm going to redo this Kyron board just because I feel like this is the most intriguing part here. Yeah, on this team that I got, bro, look at this. Look at the squad. Where is it? I think it's over on this screen here. Yeah, I mean, Bijan, Jonathan Brooks, and this is weekly winners, so, you know, even if it took Brooks a little while to get in, it sucks for my week one, you know, whatever. But Bijan, Brooks, Benson, Corum, Keaton, Mitchell, Agrendo. And see, I even drafted Corum here. I know, Ron, you said I don't like Corum. I like Corum. I said before the draft that if he doesn't go to the perfect spot.
I didn't say that, Smitty. I said I like him more. Than you.
Okay, but I don't know how we quantify that. Yeah, I don't know how we quantify that though, because it's not like I don't like him in this system. I just like Kyron so much.
You drafted him in the voicemail league. And welcome to the voicemail league, there, Travis.
Travis.
That I was just giving you crap and all that. That I put in there.
I haven't even seen it. I'll take a look.
Smitty made this move. It was really great. Pissed me off because the guy he traded with, I'm not going to mention the guy he traded with, took his deal over mine, which I thought my deal was better. And he didn't even give me a chance to counteract. But Smitty took Corum right first, and I told Smitty in private. I said, I'm surprised you didn't take JD5 because you backup quarterbacks stink. And then, sure enough, he had it in the works. He came back and he accepted his deal, and he got JD5 right after him. I was like, I was living.
Yeah, it's a one QB, but I value JD5 so much. So those are my quarterbacks: Burrow, JD5, one QB league. My running backs are Kyron, and I took Corum, and I could have drafted, you know, like I said, a Franklin or even a Leggett, Corub. I can't, for some reason I can't talk and write tonight. Corum, and then it's harder to talk and write than you think, and hit buttons and think. Sometimes I write things the letters I'm saying. Kyron and Corum. Then I have Breece Hall. And then I have Achane. Those are my running backs. Those are awesome running backs. And then my wide receiver room is definitely to be desired. But I was crafty with what I was doing, and I had a plan the whole time of doing this. I have Pearsall and Debo. So I think that at some point this divides into two different starters for me, but we'll find out. And then I've got like old dog like Hopkins. I've got, you know, C. Watson. I have Baker, Javon Baker.
Yep.
I have
Goddard.
Yeah, Goddard's my tight end. So it's a really good team. I like this team. It's a 12-man dynasty. It's a follower league that we've had for many years. But I mean, I love this. JD5 is going to eventually be my starter. So I had to make that pick. I had to make this pick first just to make sure, because this deal wasn't for sure going to go through where I get this pick, but I did get it right almost in unison. And so I really like the running stable. It's a really, really good squad. You know, we'll see how it goes. But JD5 to me, I don't think in a 12-man 1 QB league I'll be able to trade Burrow, and I don't know if I'll even want to. But at some point I'll be starting JD5. That's how good he's going to be in the running.
Well, you got Burrow.
What?
You got Burrow off of me. We traded, and you got Burrow off of me.
Yeah.
Remember?
I do. But Burrow's available.
I originally had.
Anybody needs him, but I like the security in both quarterbacks. But damn, I love the squad. But this is so important. This was so important to me, this Kyron Corum, because it's dynasty that then now I have zero fears whatsoever. If, let's say, Corum does become as good as some want him to be, then that means he's so good he unseated Kyren Williams, so he's a top 5 running back. So my nightmares, this is my starting running back, and I'm fine. But Kyren to me is just a whole nother monster. This is potentially, running back 1 or 1 to 3. This is a top 5 to 7 running back right here in Achan, and then this is a 1 to 5 to me for Kyren. I think Kyren has the possibility of being the number 1 running back per start. And then what does that mean? I mean, he runs hard, so it's not crazy that he could get hurt. But anyway, Travis, anything else other than Jonathan Brooks, who's a Moon Man? Is he a Mars Man or a Moon Man? Let me hit the button and see. I think he's a Moon Man.
The Moon Man.
Yeah.
Dropping loads in outer space.
This is a good looking list, man. Brooks, Zamir, Keon Coleman. I ended up we're gonna take Baker off. We did for like a millisecond, and then I put him back on after I ended the show. I'm like, F this. I'm gonna roll with Baker. I just we need somebody on here that's like this the St. Brown kind of. God, remember when St. Brown was on here and it was bold once. Sinnott is fantastic. These Moon Men are definitely like stretches, right? And that's what you want for Moon Men. You want them to be like higher probability of failure, like big swings. Brooks, you could say, is not a big swing, high probability of failure, but the fact that he's going so late and people do say things like he won't be ready, like there's a lot of haters on Brooks, so he does fit the bill.
Yeah, I mean, there's reasonable risk baked into them all. If you think about it,
Yeah, Zamir. I mean, this is like what, an 80s pick, 80 overall-ish pick, and Zamir Brooks is going in the 80, 85. I mean, you can't say people are high on somebody when they're going in the 80s. And when he could be a top 5 running back per start or top 10 running back per start, that's great. Zamir White can be a top 10 running back per start, top 12. That's great. 80s are unbelievable. Sinnott's going in the 140s. Coleman's going, I don't know where anymore, but he's definitely not being drafted as a high-end wide receiver 3, and he could be. Baker, he's free. You can get him at the end of the draft. And Penix Jr., free. You can get him at the end of the draft. He honestly goes undrafted in drafts that I'm not in. But whenever I'm in it, I'm taking Penix Jr. But this is a great group of Moon Men. And the Mars Men,
he's on a shuttle to Mars.
I mean, these are more secure players, but there's still some tremendous value.
And spinning aimlessly.
McBride's still sometimes slipping into round 5. Stroud's going higher, so like the value's kind of not there anymore. I'm not removing him though, just because he's climbed. AR5 is kind of hit and miss all over the place. London was such a value earlier in the offseason, and just because he's climbed really high, we almost just need some sort of badge of honor that, congrats to those who took advantage while they did. And some of these guys, like, even Puka still, it depends where he goes. If he's going like 9 overall, 8 overall, it does limit some of the upside, but he's still a solid player that, I don't know. It does suck to have players on here as we're in May. And I'm not taking London off or anything, but it does suck to have like the value gone already. London was a 3rd rounder for a little while, and now he's top of round 2. And it's like, it does suck. I almost wish there was a way to put him, like maybe we put him on Mars completed and we make room for another guy. I don't know how to really approach it. If you guys have a suggestion, let me know. But it does suck that we're consuming some of these spots with guys that you can't really, and it's May 15. You can't even take advantage of because their values are so high now. So I don't know.
That could be a way to do it. Have it like where like, and 1 to 3 guys can be put on Mars. You could even make it just 1, and if anyone else loses it, they come off or whatever you think, but where they go to Mars and it's like the value has been halved. We still think they're going to blow up.
Like mission complete, they've landed. Maybe we will do that.
Yeah. I like that.
Smitty?
Yes.
I want to ask Travis, how'd you like your schedule? And I got to get out here after he answers this anyway.
Yeah,
but
the Patriots schedule?
Patriots schedule?
The Patriots? Being honest, I don't see more than 4 4 to 6 wins, to be completely honest, and I'm okay with that because they're doing a full rebuild. And if that's, I mean, if their defense is still pretty good. So if something happens where Brissett plays and he's good enough, maybe they win a few more. Or if it may develop faster than I think. I think he needs a year to develop. But I'm okay with that though, as long as they stick to the script and keep rebuilding the right way.
At least Travis is honest about that. Like that's.
Well, I mean, look at it real quick, and you don't have to go through them all, but just glance at it.
Okay.
If you're looking at it honestly, if you go, just look at six division games it is, say they get one of those, maybe 2. Now you look at the rest of it and tell me how many wins.
Okay, let's go through it real quickly. New England Patriots. Let me put it up on the screen here. Okay, so I got a little underline thing I can move around. Okay, so New England, Bengals, L. Seattle.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. Like, even Seattle, like, it's going to be tough to win the game because you don't have a quarterback yet.
Well, because what I did is I looked at it like between like Seattle, the Chargers, and the Titans.
Yeah.
You give them 1 win out of those.
Yeah.
You got to kind of look at it like that.
Yeah. I mean, I could see like Chicago losing it or something like that. Like, but you're right. It's a tough schedule. So if you go, okay, let's go backwards. Buffalo week 18 loss. Chargers, I'll say L. Buffalo again, man, almost back to back Buffalo. So 3 L's right there. Arizona, I think will be firing on all cylinders. Then that's 4 L's, 4 losses to lose this. Yeah, you're right, bro. You're absolutely right. Maybe 4 wins is too many.
Did you see the Steelers schedule? 4. They really hosed us. At the
Atlanta,
end.
Denver.
No, I'm talking. Look at week 17, 16, and 15. Start with week 15 and look at those 3 games right there, within 10 days of each other. Look at that schedule right there for the Steelers.
Week 15, 16, 17. So KC, Baltimore, Philly. That is rough, man. And Cleveland's rough. Cincinnati's rough. Cleveland again. Baltimore. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Your last 7 games could be all L's. I'm not saying you'll lose them all, but I'm saying.
But look at this. But I was telling you, Smitty, look, we play the Eagles, right? And then 6 days later we play Baltimore, and then 4 days after Baltimore we play Kansas City.
Yeah, you did get screwed, bro. Wow, you're right. I take it back. You're much worse off than the Cardinals. Baltimore, Cleveland.
You know what you're saying?
Jeez.
You know what your saving grace might be? Is if you can take 1 from Cincinnati, and if Cleveland falls apart, you take 2 from them.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, then we play all our divisional games from week 12 on. We don't play Cleveland, Cincinnati, or Baltimore.
Wow.
In the schedule, they're all week 12.
You could start off with like 1 loss though through the bye week. I mean, you never know.
I think that's what they have to do, yeah.
Yeah, look, Baltimore, so this is tough. This is week 11. Baltimore, week 12. Cleveland, week 13. Cincinnati, week 14. Cleveland, week 15. Philly, week 16. Baltimore, week 17. KC, and even Cincy in week 18. Like, that's rough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know.
You're right.
They say we got the toughest schedule this year in the NFL. The Steelers have the toughest schedule.
I would confirm that. I think that's true.
So, anyway, I'm going to get going, guys.
All right.
Again, welcome to the league, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, later, Ron.
Appreciate it, Ron.
Thanks for the super chat. Later, bro.
Bye.
Travis, any final thoughts?
Just going back to the talking about handcuffing with Corum or Benson and Brooks, and honestly, even other guys like Keaton Mitchell and Garendo, or however you say his name, at picks 189.6 and 208.5 ADP. If you have the starters, it's almost a no-brainer to take them as cuffs. I know there's some people who hate that and will,
Bro, I refuse to accept.
Down the road forever.
Yeah, I refuse to accept that getting cuffs is bad on in any format or level. It's case by case.
Especially when they're just especially when they're these, like I said, like if you have Derrick Henry and you can take Keaton Mitchell, especially in the weeklies, at 189, who are you taking? You're taking a shot in the dark throw anyways. So why don't you take the guy that fits with your guy and can just go off, you know? And I know people don't believe that. They'll argue it till the day's end. But
bro, it is case by case.
Looking at the cuff board.
It is case by case.
There's a lot. Sure. But there's a lot of cases where it makes sense.
Right. And so for me, like in best ball, while people are saying I'd rather take a stab at two other players, I'm over and over drafting Corum and Kyren and Benson and Connor. And I'll do that on the same team over and over and over. And I'll get my share of other players that can pop off. But this whole notion that grabbing all these different players, if you believe in the offense that is, Kyren Williams' rushing attack where he scores a touchdown every single game, why would you want to take a shot on somebody and that you'd have to have the odds of them going off the week you need them anyway? This long shot stab in the dark of a standalone player, someone else's cuff, as they say. I'd rather have my own cuff when I believe in the cuff, when I believe in the situation. Now, would I just cuff anybody? Am I going to cuff Gus, Bus, and Vidal? No, I'm drafting Vidal standalone. Am I drafting? Even like Algier and Bijan? No, I'd rather take a Benson or a Jonathan Brooks. I mean, but and someone might say, well, then that's the whole point. Like, yeah, in that scenario, case by case, I'll take Garendo before I cuff it depends on if Garendo is looking like he could grab the job, but I would take Garendo over cuffing, Breon
Allen right now.
Yeah, or Algier to Bijan, like I was saying. Like, I'll take Garendo standalone and not cuff Bijan. And like, if Garendo was the starter, the backup.
So I just think, especially now, while the ADPs are so good, take advantage of those. And then, like you're talking about, like, with tight ends, take advantage of some of those. Like, the Musgrave one is a no-brainer to me. And, like, especially if you want to wait on tight end and go Musgrave Kraft, I mean, it's such a safe, on paper, which is all we're doing right now.
Yeah.
On paper, and we have the schedule too. It's such a safe combo to grab,
Yeah.
Because people kind of hem and haw over tight end sometimes. They don't know whether to go early or to wait. You can really let the board fall to you at tight end right now.
Agreed. All right, Travis. Take care, pal.
I'll let you go.
All right, later.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks everyone for the well wishes.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you later.
Keep busy. All right, later. Thanks for moderating, my main man. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you for being here for a draft special. Absolute fun draft with the NFL schedule in mind. Appreciate you all for dialing in. Appreciate you all for super chatting. Appreciate you all for giving gifted memberships like Ron did. Appreciate you all for dropping fire all show long. Let me just real quickly search for gifted memberships and make sure I did thank everybody that dropped one. Ron gifted 10. Yep. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. Celebratory messages, milestones, none. Okay. And then super chats. I want to thank my super chatters. Thank you, Michael Vick. Thank you, Ron Navy. Thank you, Charles T. Charles T. It was very good to see you tonight. Make sure you come by more often, my guy. All my mods, anybody else that dropped anything, appreciate you. I will see you later. Kyren to the moon. Let the haters hate, baby.
He's Kyren. He's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyren. He can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
Thank you, Sick Nasty, for moderating. Thank you, Blackbeard. I don't thank Blackbeard enough. Blackbeard, you're always in here. I appreciate Blackbeard. Sick Nasty's always in here, too. Appreciate you both. Thank you, Terry Roberts, moderator in here, too. We got the mod squad in here. The Wrench crew. Terry Roberts, Sick Nasty, Blackbeard, all in the building at the same time. Is Space Ricky here? Space Ricky? And then Travis. Thank you, Travis. Thank you to all my mods. And Vampy, we can't find Vampy anywhere. I'm getting really worried, to be honest with you. We've hit this bat signal. We have no idea where Vampy is. If anybody knows where Vampy is, please alert him to report to the principal's office. We need to discuss where in the hell he's been. Appreciate you all. Mod Squad, appreciate you. We'll see you later. Blackbeard to the moon. Sick Nasty to the moon. Terry Roberts to the moon. Travis Rote to the moon. Space Ricky to the moon. Thank you, everybody else. Thank you, Superfish, for being here. Thank you, Roger F. Terry Roberts, thank you, pal. Roger F. We'll see you later. Isaac. Appreciate you, Isaac.
Hi. What would you like? Footballs, please. Lots of footballs, please. Coming up.
He's Marvin, he's 11 feet tall, and he loves to consume the football. He's Kyler, he's 4 feet tall, but starving Marvin will answer the call.
Excuse me, Jalen. Reporter Randy here from the Take a Lap Times. Do you know you're currently a 3rd to 4th rounder in fantasy drafts?
3rd to 4th rounder?